Alright, let me promote the stream quick, and then we'll start. Launching plays from second group stage from CoN. And I'll post in the videos thing or something. Video, YouTube. Alright, there we go. Okay, something like that. Should be good. Anywhere else I should post? Let's see, is this older? Okay, well. Alright, cool. So, yeah, we're gonna watch some replays from the second round of the Rome 2 Cup of Nations. We've got quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5 series. So that's like 15 games. So let's get right started. So first one, Semi-Naked versus Evil Darkness. He says versus Ultrasins is probably best. I don't know which one I got from Ulda. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got Ogres. Okay, anyway. Semi-Naked versus Evil Darkness. This was from my group, but I didn't play Semi-Naked actually. We couldn't find the time because the time zone difference was kind of fucked, so should be interesting to see how it plays. Evil Darkness has Tillis, Semi-Naked has Nervii, so good old Barbarian Brawl. Let's get right into it. And unlike last replay review, we have two matchups, or two matches per series, so it'll be interesting to see how people adapt as in the second game, after the first game has happened. Hello, Carswell, what's up? Okay, so yeah, Nervii versus Tillis. Tillis is going to have pretty much the same rules as Arverni, so I think it's 3 Elite Infantry, 6 Melee, 4 Javcav, 4 Same, something like that. Nervii has like 3 Elite Melee, maybe? Yeah, 3, maybe 4 as well. Oh, wait, 4, yeah, because Tillis has 3, Nervii has 4. They get 3 Javcav. Right, so we have the army for Tillis is Oathsworn, Tribal, Oathsworn 2, so I can probably speed up. 2 tribals, 2 Oathsworn, sorry, 1 tribal, 3 Celtic warriors, 3 spear warriors, 2 levy freemen, and 3 Celtic slingers with 2 noble horse. So that's fine because again, Nervii is going to be able to bring more cabs. So you bring 2 noble horse. But now your big issue is in infantry. You're going to be down a lot because Semi-Naked has 4 oaths and 2 Celtics. And that's a big problem because you only have 2 Oathsworn and the tribal. The tribal is not going to be too useful there. I guess it's smart for Semi-Naked not to bring any Fear Swords because they're pretty useless against Tillis. Oh, I thought he has a Peltis. Yeah, he does have a Thracian Peltis as well. Yeah, that's pretty nice. But I'm not sure what these spears are really going to get you in this matchup. Like, yes, they'll help you against Cav, but you also have like 4 Jav, or he has 3 Jav Cav, I suppose. But I probably would have brought 4 Jav Cav and 1 less spear to win the Jav Cav war. And that would force some of these Levy Freemen, you could put 2 on each flank. You would have, 1 versus 2 on this flank or something, and 2v2 over here. You could pressure this flank a lot more aggressively, force some of these units to look backwards. Because right now I feel like he doesn't have really an advantage anywhere. Like, he has less Oathsworn, so his infantry is just straight up way worse. He has 3 slingers to 4. He has 3 Jabcav versus 3 Jabcav, so that's equal. He has, I suppose, the only place Semi-Naked is weak is he only has 3 Mighty Horse, and I guess the 2 Noble Horse are significantly stronger, but there's less of them. So I guess in the cab department, Tillis should be slightly stronger, but there's so many Oathsworn here, so I feel like this is going to be tough for Evil Darkness because, yes, you have 2 cab, but they're not great, and you still have to get through the 3 enemy cav, and there's like 4 Levy Freemen as well. I guess I didn't go over his army. It's 3 Javcav, 4 Levy Freemen, 4 Slingers, 4 Oathsworn, 3 Cav, and 2 Celtic Warriors. Pretty straightforward. But Yeah, I'm not sure where he has the advantage here because he's gonna lose the Slinger War, so he's gonna have to attack. Doesn't have that jab cut advantage. He's gonna have to make use of his his noble horse, but against 4 Oathsworn and all the support, all something you can use to do is just get the Oathsworn involved. They will kill all the infantry because it's just like 2 Oathsworn and 1 tribal, and then sit back with his Levy Freeman and Celtics and wait for the Cav to have to go for something. And since there's only 2 elite Cav, sorry, the noble horse, they're not gonna be able to do very much. Semi Naked breaking out a charge here, but he's going to bait out the charge of the Oathsworn in turn, so this is pretty decent actually. He's going to get a good fight here, but he needs to come support this. You can see Semi-Naked already rotating over here, but he's going to get a really nice fight here. He does lose a Spear Warrior for it though, but again, that's not terrible. He has a lot of spears. Oh, fuck, he just got owned. Loses 9 men there. Yes, hi Sarah, what's up? Yeah, this is Semi-Naked versus Evil Darkness. Um, so yeah, his general got fucked there. Lost 9 men. So that Levy Freeman. And again, that was because Semi-Naked rotated a lot faster than Evil Darkness did to this fight. Now a nice crushing charge there on these units, but he is going to sacrifice his Mighty Horse for like nothing here. The General will win this. There is no support, so this Levy Freeman could be annoying, but there's, there's Levy Freeman on the way as well here. And the Javelins will come in here on the General, or on the Mighty Horse here. Over here, it's just kind of like sitting back, and again, this is exactly what I said. Like, all Semi-Naked needs to do is get his Oathsworn into a fight, and then just like sit here with all of his reserves. All, 3 of his Levy Freemen, 2 Celtics, the Slingers, and the Cab just sitting back here. Evil Darkness is shooting up this Mighty Horse, which will start to take heavy losses, so that's good. And he needs to get support in here ASAP so that his general doesn't get rolled. He's already down to 37 because he took those 9 deaths early. It was a lot harder for him to survive in this fight. So the Mighty Horse and the Levy Freeman actually got a bit better of the exchange here. Especially because this Levy Freeman, or actually there's the Spear Brother, even worse. Yeah, no wonder. No wonder they did so well here because the Spear Brothers with the cavalry counter tactics just started to chew up those noble horse, and this makes it even harder. So now he's really down to 1 cav unit, and the other noble horse is also down to 39. So his cavalry advantage has been mitigated early on, but at the same time, his Oathsworn did get some really good fights because look at this. Yes, the general is in here, but oh, I'm fucking lagging, dude. Okay, we're good. Wait, maybe don't crash. Okay, so this Oathsworn is beating up this Oathsworn, and this Oathsworn is also not that healthy. Tribal Warrior against the General not going to do so well. Nice rear charge, though, by these Mighty Horse. Uh, Smartly got out of this fight and gets this rear charge, which is very nice. So now the only option for Evil Darkness is to go aggressive on the other flank, where he does have an advantage. He has 2 Celtic Warriors and an Oathsworn and some better spears against an Oathsworn and 1 Celtic Warrior. So he has an advantage here, or actually has 2 Celtic Warriors, so it's not a huge advantage, I lied. But he has to go for something. He's going to lose this fight in the center. The Thracian Peltis, though, is firing into this blob, which is excellent. I would like him to get the angle from here. If you get the angle from here, it's into to the side, is a little bit better. But he's making the right decision because these Slingers are focus firing the Thracian. I think. Yeah, they are. So he doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to move the Thracian because they'll just get shot and not fire. He wants to just fire as much as he can here. Oathsworn 82, 53, 88, 101, so pretty decent. Here again, he uses this Celtic to bait the charge of the Oathsworn, and now the Oathsworn of Nervii will commit. The Cav, again, just playing defense here against the Jav Cav. The Cav is healthier for Nervii, though. Now we're going to get some cycle charging here. But the Oathsworn, but the Slingers are very close by here, so I think they'll just be able to dominate this. Like, if he just, like, posts his Slingers right here and just starts shooting into the flank, he will own this unit very quickly. So you have to be careful of that. And now okay, this is a bad move. This is a really bad move here from Nervii, because his Jab Cav is so out of the fight. Look at this. They're all the way back here. All 3 are here. These Cav are just going to get obliterated. There's Levy Freeman, you know, there's, Spear support, Cav support. This move is too early. He needs to instigate this move with a Levy Freeman push first. Uh, Push back these Slingers. Well, ideally, like, the Levy Freeman would come around this flank. This Cav push is useless because they're just getting shot by the Jav Cav, which is exactly what they want. And now this Cav is also going to get into a tough fight against 2 Noble Horse here. These Celtic Warriors are, the closest support for infantry-wise. These Jav Cav are much closer than the enemy Jav Cav, so this push is I would say, ill-timed. And if I were Evil Darkness here, I would take one of my Cav units and just wrap around the flank here. Force these Cav to decide to either go back and defend the Slingers, because there's no Cav there, or continue and maybe get this, the Slingers of Tillis. But if you trade Slingers here, it's 4 Slingers versus 3, and the support is much better. To kill off the Cav here for Nervii, because these Cav, there's Levy Freeman here, there's Spears here, there's the Thracian Peltis here, there's the Cav. If he goes around the flank instead with the Jav Cav, these Slingers are pretty much goners. Like, the only unit that can stop it is maybe like this Levy Freeman, you could, or this Celtic Warrior, but you could pretty easily dodge that. So I think this is a mistake. He's going to get his unit shot up. Mighty Horse with low armor, relatively, and lower health, I should say, 80 health compared to the 90 of Heavy Horse, makes them an easy target. The Oathsworn, though, are getting obliterated here to the folk. I guess the Slingers are shooting the General, which is fair enough. But the Oathsworn here, 84. This one's at 97. So the infantry fight is just collapsing here. And I guess he uses this not to go for the Slingers, but to rear charge, which I guess is okay. But he was easily winning these fights anyway. And yeah, I think there's just not enough infantry. And this was the problem. Like, you kind of saw exactly what I said. He didn't have any advantages in this fight. In this fight, it felt like he just had Cav, but I mean, maybe his Cav, he had advantage, but he immediately blew up his advantage by losing so many men as Noble Horse at the start of the game to Javelins, which just meant that his infantry was much worse, so he had to go aggressive to, and his slingers were much worse, so he had to go aggressive to try to kill them, but his Cav couldn't take any aggression because they were already low, and the Jav Cav fight was even, so it was like, all you have is a little bit better spears, but the extra Oathsworn is really going to mitigate that quite easily. Um, Now you can try to kite, but there's obviously way too much left on the field here. His only hope would be just, kill all these Jav Cav, and then maybe go for something late game, but there's 4 slingers alive. There's no cav, but again, it's gonna be hard to kill these slingers with so many infantry around. But I think you can try. You can try for it. Basically, you can just kill off these cav, which he's doing now. Then the slingers are gonna be isolated, and maybe you can get them. Noble horse trying to get in, but they're a bit too slow. Essentially, he gets in the back. He keeps his cav alive here, and yeah, that'll do it because he kept the cav alive. And 2 slingers was not enough to win that, I would say. So close game, but yeah, I think he's hurting himself with his army choice. I think you go 1 noble horse here, um, 3 Oathsworn, and 4 Javcav, and then less spears. And you use your Javcav advantage, because you know you can only that Nervyak can only have 3 Javcav. Use your Javcav advantage to mitigate the enemy cavalry advantage. Maybe get some Peltis and some Slingers to help you in the Oathsworn department. But this was a tough army to deal with, I think, for Tillis because the four oaths. But if you were going only 2 oaths, you're gonna put yourself in a hole early on. And the Thracian Peltis didn't get used great. They need to be used in the flank of the Oathsworn to shoot them in the side. Um, but they didn't do that. So 1-0, but let's see if Evil Darkness can respond. Does he take a different army? Yes, he does pretty much exactly what I said, so that's good. Although he takes only Peltis, no Slingers, but that's okay. I don't mind that necessarily. So if we look at the difference in his army now, he has only 1 Noble Horse, but he has 3 Radiant Horse and a Thracian Cav for 4 Jav Cav. He has 4 Peltis, but there's a Celtic Skirmisher and 3 Thracian Peltis. I wouldn't bring the Celtic Skirmisher. I think you could bring 2 Thracian Peltis and like 3 Slingers is probably better. Like drop the Skirmisher, drop like a Levy Freeman, drop a Thracian Peltis and get 3 Slingers. I think you can afford that. I think that makes sense. That's probably what I would do, just because now you're gonna be forced to rush into 4 Oathsworn, and you only have 3 Oathsworn. Yes, you have the Thracian Peltis to even that out, but it's still a bit tough. And you can get kited basically. If you bring 3 Slingers, it's 3 versus 4 Slingers, and yes, you'll have a lot of missile units. You'll have like 5 missile units or something, but that should be fine. And then just use your Oathsworn. But anyway, the rest of his army is 3 Celtic warriors, looks like 3 Levy Freemen, 2 Spear warriors, and that's, yeah, the infantry we talked about already. Same army for Semi-Naked, 4 Celtics, 4 Levy Freemen, 4 Oathsworn, 4 Oathsworn, 3 Cav, 2 Celtic warriors, with the 3 Jav Cav. And again, the thing with this army is, like, it's very infantry heavy, obviously, with the 4 Oaths, but it's still got decent support. Like, he's got the 4 Slingers, the 4 Levy Freeman, and the 3 Javcav, which means it's not easy to kite this necessarily, which would obviously be the thing you'd want to do against 3 Cab and 4 moving Oathsworn. But it's quite difficult, actually, to kite such an army with 3 Javcav and the 4 Slingers, which you have to take care of at some point. And then, even if you take care of them with a missile war or whatever, you still have to get through the 4 Oathsworn in the late game anyway, so that's quite a nice army, I would say. Like, I'm thinking about this from like my own perspective. Like, fighting this army as Massilia would be pretty difficult, I think, because like you have nothing to kill the Oathsworn, infantry-wise. So you'd have to take a kite and go from there, which could work, of course, but it's not guaranteed. Here comes the rush. Again, we know that he's gonna rush. He already pre-targets everything. This is fine. His Spear Warrior is gonna have an easy fight against the Spear. Oh, these are Spear Brothers. My bad. Only one, I think. Yeah, 3 Levy Freeman and a Spear Brother. Spear Warriors will defeat Spear Brothers. Uh, Decides to turn away from this charge. Probably a good idea because the contact had already happened. He's going to engage with this Oathsworn. And you can see this Oathsworn's a bit further back. Doesn't get a great charge here, however. Also, again, when you have 4 Javcav versus 3, the better play is to split 2 and 2. Because 4 versus 3, if you just think about pure, like, numbers, right? You only have a 4/3 more Javcav, essentially. So 1.33 times. Whereas if you go 2 versus 2 on this flank, you can just nullify this flank and go 2 versus 1 on this flank, and 2 versus 1 is a bigger advantage than 3 versus 4. And yes, you don't have an advantage on the other flank, but that's the same thing right now, right? He doesn't have an advantage on this flank because it's 0 versus 0, and here it's 3 versus 4, and this advantage is a lot less than the 2 versus 1 versus 2 versus 2 split that you can do, because then he only has 1 versus 1 here, and you can just go around basically, and that forces him to retreat essentially this Javcav, and you get a lot more space that way. Um, but 3 versus 4, you can see like he can't really take any fights. Like it's just you're just gonna be skirmishing, and you can try to flank, but it's all on one side. So you can just put a Javcav here, put a Javcav here, put a Javcav here, and you're not gonna flank at all. It'll take a lot longer to do any action on the flank. But anyway, the engagements are coming through. I'm surprised that he's going so aggro with his Mighty Horse here. Considering that, look how many like Javelin units are here. I guess he pulls back pretty quickly, but if he loses his Cav, it's gonna be really hard to do very much. It's gonna give this Noble Horse a lot of play. It's gonna give these Thracians a lot of play. So going so aggro with the Mighty Horse, it's a lot. It's very risky, I would say. It's very, very risky. And you can see the Thracians are getting shots in here, and they're going to start to do real damage here. Yes, you're killing some Levy Freemen, and that makes your Levy Freemen a lot stronger, but you can see even though those Levy Freemen are taking a lot of losses, here he is shooting up one of these mercenary Germanic scout riders, all the way dead. Very nice. Unfortunately, he's wasting a lot of ammo on like the one dude that's still alive, instead of shooting this mighty horse. So again, seems like one of Semi-Naked's biggest weaknesses is like overcommitting with these cav, where there's a lot of focus fire that can come in on them. The generals here as well. Over here, this unit is pretty much dead. This unit is pretty healthy, but 50 men after the charge phase. These Celtic warriors are kind of wasting their time killing an Oathsworn. Like they're not gonna do shit. You should just retreat, let the Levy Freeman die, so the Thracians can shoot. But somewhere, okay, so it's 2 Oathsworn over here against just 1. But that means that everywhere else it's 1 Oathsworn versus 1 Oathsworn. Even here there's no Oathsworn, right? So um, he should, he can take the advantage here with this Oathsworn versus no Oathsworn, pull back his spears, kill the Levy Freeman, whatever. And then he has a huge Shabcat advantage here, and he is making them pay with some nice fire here. Oathsworn, of course, are going to lose to the cycle charging Oathsworn over here, but again, if he just saves his like, I think he's losing too many Celtics. Like he lost like all two of his 3 Celtics to Oathsworn. Like you might as well just not fight that. He had a Levy Freeman here. He could just pull back his Celtic, just run it away, let the Levy Freeman die to the Oathsworn, let the Thracian Peltist focus fire it down, and then save your Celtics for another day. Because if your Celtics die to the Oathsworn, and these Celtics you can see are still alive here, this one is going to die, I think, but he doesn't have a choice really. He's getting rushed there. Um, if these Celtics survive, then it's going to give the infantry advantage over to Nervii more than it already was. So that's not great. Also, shooting Levy Freeman or Spear Brothers even is not really not really worth it, I would say. Because what he really needs to do is flank and get to the slingers, because the slingers live here is going to be very annoying. He kills the Javcav, which is very nice, and now he should just go for a full flank attack here with this Spear Warrior leading the charge to block off, let's say, this Oathsworn. Of course you can use this unit to block against cav attacks, but you can tie it down at least and then commit. But if you have these Celtic warriors to bust through these gaps, he could just attack everywhere and really pressure these slingers. Because if the slingers die, this is going to be completely winning. Because you're going to have 3 Thracian Peltists in the late game, which yes are not super melee units, but they're quite good. You're going to reduce the numbers of the Oathsworn quite a bit with just this melee. You're going to have your general and all 4 raiding horse, and at that point you just won against like some Oathsworn. But you have to get to the slingers. If you don't get to the slingers, you're just going to sit there and shoot down your Oathsworn, and the numbers will not be in your favor. You can see that going down right now with these focusing fire into the side. Nice flanking shots though from the Thracian Peltist, doing exactly what I said he needed to change. Oathsworn not losing too many men because it is left-sided shots, but you can see it's a lot of rear shots as well. So these Celtic warriors need to rout soon so he can turn the Oathsworn and face frontally. Oathsworn dying here though, which is very nice. Oh, this is a very risky charge. He's gambling that this unit is going to break through, which it does. So this is timed actually quite well. You can see he's going for the attack exactly, honestly, almost like he was listening to me. But, like, this is really good. Like, he knows that he's going to win this fight, so he can use this Oathsworn to support his general, which is good. These fights are very close because of the effect of the Thracian Peltis. You can see like, this Oathsworn's down to 30 men. This Oathsworn's still alive at 49. The general's at 100. This Oathsworn is at 53. So not a lot of Oathsworn left. The general's the healthiest cav unit. The I guess there is this 59 man unit, which you have to be careful of. But now, if you can just attack from this side, and again, this is why it would have been nice to have cav on both flanks, because now all of his cav is on this flank, all of his Jav cav. you can easily lock this out. If he had two Joukei over here and two over here, he couldn't really defend against everything, right? He can't defend this, this, and this. Like, yes, he has this cav unit, but it's 10 men, and there would be so much support coming in here. But here, okay, so what's going to happen is the general is going to commit into this engagement, let the, get the charge on these Larry Freeman, kill them off, get some of these Mighty Horse dead. The Oathsworn will come up the center here, and let the general retreat. The Thracian Peltas, will be a threat later, but they're not a threat yet, and he's going to try to collapse on the Slingers from all angles. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to lose his Thracian Cav to this Mighty Horse, and that's going to... Oh, he runs away. Okay, good move there. Not committing. He's going to lose his Spear Warrior. This Oathsworn does kind of get committed here, but if he just charges in now, I feel like there's not a whole lot he can do. The General is sort of in a bad fight here, but it's okay to take this, but it's not really great. Ah, yeah, he's losing this Thracian Cav, but here come the other two Jav Cav. Imagine if they were in position already. Again, it was two cavalry. This Cav was tied down, and this Cav was engaged, and this Cav was 10 men against four Jav Cav. There's no way the Slinger should ever survive there, but because he came in piecemeal, one at a time, it's going to maybe allow these Slingers to live. But this is going to be very close, because the Thracian Peltas are now a huge melee force. Absolutely devastating force in the late game. But of course, this flank is completely winning for... oh my god, he gets another charge, dude. This is crazy. That shouldn't happen. But yeah, but his general is gonna be weak. But the left side from Evil Darkness's POV is much stronger. He's gonna commit his general here. I guess it's 30 men against 30 mighty horse. I guess that's okay. We can live with that. Gotta charge in. He's collapsing on every angle. This should be winning, right? I think this should be winning because there's a huge Oathhorn here. And there's 92-man Oathsworn General is a threat, but it's not a huge threat. The Thracian Peltas, you're going to get into this cav fight and just own them. But the Slingers are just living for so long. And oh, he's losing so many of his Jav cav though. That's a problem if you can't get to the Slingers. But the Slingers should, I mean, the Oathsworn should just lose. The General should just lose here. I guess he's going to pop second wind, so he's going to be fresh against Winded and Tired. So maybe that'll turn the tide of the battle. And he can't quite kill the Slingers. This cav unit might be too strong. Okay, there's a second unit here. He abandons the chase of this Slinger, which I guess is okay. The Thracian Peltas are in though, and now I guess the general's probably gonna die, but that's okay. It's not really a problem as long as he just kills off. As he just wins this cav fight, he will win the game no matter what happens here. Because these Oathsworn will live for so long. No, don't charge into the Oathsworn, dog. Charge into the Slingers. Charge into the Slingers. I guess his general's doing that now. Gets a good charge. But he should be winning this cav fight, I feel like. 37 against 29 and 42. This should be okay. Oathsworn will commit into this fight. Oh, do they get routed here? That's the only way you lose is you don't pop Headhunt here and they rout before Headhunt activates fully. Because this general is at 69. He's not very healthy. These Thracian Peltas are committing in. He gets out with his Jav Cav, but now he can just recommit. This Slinger's not really a huge threat because there's Cav left on the field. He pops Headhunt. They're going to stabilize. Maybe they might rout as soon as Headhunt is over, though. This unit does stabilize, though, so this should be good for Evil Darkness. This is very close, though. The Thracian Peltas is a big threat against 32 Oathsworn. The Thracian Peltas will do fine here. Don't know, again, this commit was very bad. He blobbed up against the general Oathsworn unit, which can just absolutely tank everything. But he's killing a lot here. The Celtic Warrior coming back in. This Slinger, again, not a huge threat as long as some of his cav survives. The Mighty Horse, though, doing so much here. But it looks like the Thracian Peltas are doing a good job here. The Oathsworn, 33 men, 26 against 51. This fatigue, they have worse fatigue, but it's not by a lot. But the Raiding Horse, they're slowly dropping here. He just needs his Thracian Peltas to be in this fight, not his Raiding Horse. Recharging the General, again, big mistake. He's going to go for this Slinger unit, but I don't know if he can actually get to them yet. I might just focus down these units first. But he's going for this. Oh, he baits it out, I suppose. Nice bait there. His general is holding on with 30 men. And again, the other thing was just the fatigue difference. Also, like, these charges are completely worthless. Like, your Raiding Horse is not going to do shit against Oathsworn. You don't do that. You need to kill the Slingers. And these Oathsworn are just so tanky at the end of the game, even against the Thracian Peltas. I wonder if he has the right attack orders here. Oh, he's just committing in the wrong places, man. He needs to commit for the Slingers. And yeah, he's just going to rout. What a close game, but I think I can't help but feel like he misplayed that with his Jav Cav. 4 versus the 2 Cav, and he couldn't commit to the Slingers properly. He lost 2 Jav Cav to the 1 Cav, which makes no sense. But very close, and the fatigue as well. I'm not sure what the deal is with second wind. Of course, the general for Nervia had that second wind all the time. But if he could have kept his stamina and his Oathsworn better, I think they would have been fine in that endgame. Yeah, but unfortunately, his general died as well to the Slinger fire, and he just wasn't able to spread out. I think it came back to the very beginning where he didn't spread his raiding horse out, and so everything was coming from one flank, and it was very easy for Semi-Naked to just deal with that. You know, you know exactly where the threat is because it's only on one side. You don't have to spread out to defend against it. But good series, I think, is pretty close. I like the adaptations that Evil Darkness made. It just I think he needed like a little bit more to get the win there, but I think it was good. Next we have Evil Darkness versus Grozny Borsch. I'll take a drink real quick. Hello, Semi-Naked. Yes, that's you. Good job, bro. Um, yeah, Evil Darkness versus Grozny Borsch here. Tillis versus Seleucids. Now, one of the reasons that we're doing this is I saw this we saw this matchup last time. It was Alucard versus Grozny. It was very, very close, kind of a throw in the end. It's also on this map, but different player on Silla's side this time. And Grozny has like a very strange tactic, it looks like, from the start. He has a pike, a general, I guess. So Grozny Boris has, or sorry, Evil Darkness has two Oathsworn, it's like Tribal Warrior, three Celtics, four Spear Brother, or Spear Warrior, sorry, one Levy Freeman, Thracian Peltis, Thracian Peltis, Thracian Peltis, Celtic Skirmisher, four Javcav, and one Noble Horse. So very anti-Cav. But I think people think Seleucus is like this Cav faction that it kind of isn't. Like, yes, they have the Cataphracts and the Agema Cav, but they don't have like good mid tiers. Like Medians are kind of average mid tier Cav. Like they're fine, but nothing special. Um, and they don't really, and the Cataphracts are pretty easy to counter. They're just so slow. Um, so I feel like this is kind of unnecessary, an unnecessary amount of anti-cav, like all four of the Spear Warriors and the four Skirmishers. The problem is here you just risk getting kited, I feel like. You do have the two Oathsworn, but you're not very mobile, with the Oathsworn being quite slow in the tribals as well. You have the four Javcav, that is fair, and the one Cav, but fortunately I think Grozny doesn't really have that kind of army. He has a pike army here. He has two pikemen and a Silver Shield pike general, which is interesting. These guys are pretty sick. Very cool looking, but not usually that good. So we'll have to see. My guess is that he's using them to counter the Oathsworn. So he wants to follow the Oathsworn around with his pikemen. And just wherever the Oathsworn engages, you're going to send a pike in there. And the Oathsworn won't really want to take that fight. And then he has, four Thorax swords to win the infantry war. He has three Hillmen as supports. He has some Tarentines. He has some Slingers. He has probably like two Median Cav or something. Not a lot of Cav, which is completely fine against Tillis. So he's kind of subverting expectations, taking like an army that you're unlikely to guess for sure. But we'll have to see how that pays off. He has the four slingers, which are gonna be really powerful. Actually, they're Syrians. My bad. So that's a bit surprising, but I guess he has a lot of money, right? Like he's not going for a lot of cav, so he's gonna go for four Syrians, and they can just focus down the Oathsworn. He knows there's not a lot of cav to kill the archers, and he has the Hillman in support, so he can do that. But I'm surprised he doesn't have a little bit more cav. There could be a Tarentine hidden here. He has two Tarentines over here, which is nice. I would expect he has three Tarentines. Grozny. But we'll have to see. So what happens now though is the Thracian Peltis, which were meant for Cav. Okay, there's exactly what I thought. Median and Tarentine here. But these Thracian Peltis that were expected to be used against Cav are now going to be used against pikes and infantry essentially, which is fine. Um, so yeah, I think this is problematic for Grozny because his pikes are just going to die to the Peltis, and then he has not enough Cav. The archers, however, will be a big problem. That is one thing. He has to rush with the archer presence, and he has to try to flank. So he's taking these fights at the center, but he has to try to flank because otherwise the archers are just going to kill everything, I think. So we'll see. Coming with the Celtic Warriors, baiting the charge out with the spears. That's all good. Peltis exactly shooting the pikemen. Already losing 3 on the first volley. Committing on this. But look how far back his Oathsworn are. Like, holy shit, they're not anywhere near this fight. But anyway, the Hillmen are dying, just buying time for the archers to shoot up the Oathsworn, which is good. Again, the pikes should be in phalanx, probably. Help against the missiles. I think that's a thing. But anyway, they break through the front line. The Hillmen have died. Again, he's going for this aggressive attack on the flank, which is good. He should like send his general, like his spear warrior through here, get his general in here, flank with the spear warrior, commit on this flank with your cav and your horse, raiding horse. Because over here, okay, you get into the Oathsworn. So now the general again, the general is just gonna walk forward here and try to deny this Oathsworn from having some impact. These pikes are not doing so much, but that's fine. Like this fight is winning for the thorax swords, which for some reason he pulls out. He tries to use the pike here, but you just take this fight. Like, I think what he wants to do is have the pikes face the Oathsworn and have the Thorax Sword just kill everything else. But now his pikes are like trying to do some weird attacking angles, and pikes don't really do this very well in general, but also are getting shot, so this just means they're going to take a lot of damage. The archers are shooting, for sure. They are shooting. But look how fast these pikes are just dying to the Thracian Peltas. They say, we don't care about this. But like, why would you prefer your Thorax Sword to fight an Oathsworn instead of a spear, and then your pike just sits right here and delays this Oathsworn, right? That's what you should try to do. So the Silver Shield pikes are engaging, but they're getting shot very close range by the Thracians. Here's some blob fight in the center. The Thorax Swords might actually lose this because there's two Celtics here. Tribal on the way as well. The Tarentines commit with the Medians on the Raiding Horse, so he's going to get 2 kills here pretty easily, is Grozny. That's a big problem for Grozny, for Evil, because he needs to kill these archers somehow. You see, the flank is still dominated by Seleucids, actually, which is a bit surprising. The Oathsworn's going for this fight. They're going to break the center quite soon here. And he's actually breaking this flank as well, which just the sustained pressure of this general who charged in and came out, and then this noble horse as well, and the Thracians as well. The Thracians are being super annoying here. So now it might just turn into a kite, which is fine. But again, I think the problem is you have all these good archers, but you don't have really good cav, which means it's going to be quite annoying to actually kite here, because you don't have anything to finish kills off. Like, archers are good, but you don't want to use all their ammo on low units. You want to make them low and then have your cav kill them off. But with only one Median and this other Median maybe, you don't really have the support, I would say, for the archers to actually finish this kite off. Silver Shield pikes are being annoying, but they're just going to die eventually. You can see even the Raiding Horse healing on the action shooting them. They're a bit in the forest though, so they'll probably do okay for now, but 28 kills. This is a problem, though. They're just like so immobile. They can only go forward here. Like literally, if they turn around right now, they're going to just die, so they can't turn around. They have to like sit here, and that's a big problem. Flank is cleaned up by the Spear Warriors and the Noble Horse, and now it's just the Archers pretty much. And the Archers can't really fire into this blob so well, because of the Cav. He's already out of Cav. I just feel like Raiding Horse here and the Noble Horse can probably kill. I guess he has this Median Cav, never mind. So the Median Cav did survive the flank attack. It was just the Tarentine that died. The General is just like, this is kind of cringe, but it's not a big problem. And now the Thracian Peltas come into play, and they're going to be very useful because they're fast, and so they can help catch up to the Slingers and support Cav fights. The Archer's just trying to kill the General, which is okay, but he hasn't really done that much to the Oathsworn. 86. The Tribal in the center here at 112. This General at 35. So the General is going down. Yes, Pike. Yep. Okay, goes into Pike Phalanx. Just in time. That'll actually block this charge. Should. Oh my god. I guess there's not a very big cavalry unit, but they lost quite a few men on the charge there. And the Syrian heavies can take some fire there. But the Incav gonna kill off that Raiding Horse, but the Thracian Peltas will probably do a number on them. They are very tired though, because they used the quick reload earlier. Another general is dead, but and the Silver Shield's being annoying by standing still. Very, very elite tactic here. You just stand still and stuff runs into you. But now the archers are going to still have a lot of cleanup on their hands. As soon as the morale stabilizes, the Thracian Peltas are going to be very annoying, and the Raiding Horse as well. But there is a Tarentine. The archers are probably going to just survive, I would say. Thracian Peltas might just kill all. Yeah, these Thracian Peltas are easily going to kill the Silver Shields from the side here. So the Tarentines are going to have to come bail them out here. But they're only 15 men. The archers using precision shot, fair enough. Okay, shooting Celtic Warriors. See, this is my problem though, right? Like, yes, you have your archers, but they don't have unlimited ammo. And you kill the general, but they're still Oathsworn, and the archers are pretty useless against even the Spear Warriors and the Celtics. So you don't have the Cav. Really, what you'd want is like shoot the Oathsworn down with your archers, and then kill these other units with Cav, like a shock Cav or something. But Seleucids can't really do that, and because the general's in the pike instead of a Hellenic Cataphract, I mean, maybe a Hellenic Cataphract can clean all of this up in the late game. Probably not, but maybe. But, you know, this pike is pretty useless, and the archers are surviving, but they can't easily kill these Celtics in the forest, even. Yeah, interesting pike general, agreed. Not super useful, I would say. I feel like Grozny just got overrun a bit too quickly. Like, he didn't screen the Oathsworn with his pike, so the Oathsworn just came in and killed shit when they should have just been fighting pikes the entire game. Which obviously is not easy to do because the pikes are so immobile, but that's what you have to try to do, at least. Raiding Horse is going to go down to these Tarentines, most likely. Although, you know, in extended combat, it's probably going to be better, but the archers are going to focus it down. But you can't imagine the archers have too much ammo left, because they've been shooting all game. Pikemen trying to do something, they're just, like, weird. And I guess they turned around successfully. Very nice. Good job, Pikemen. You turned around. That's awesome. That's very cool. But now you just have 4 archers against healthy infantry. 72, 93 tribals, 68 oaths. Again, look at the fatigue too. You're on a desert map. The fatigue is so bad for Tillis, but you have nothing to convert that into kills. Nothing at all, because all you have is archers, and the archers can only kind of just like sit there and shoot, but they can't really kill off fatigued units. Like a cav unit would just stomp these units right now. And there's nothing that Tillis could do about that. But there's no such unit, so I feel like the archers are just going to lose here. The pikeman is trying its best. It did get 113 kills, so like, fair enough, I suppose. I don't really know how, but hey, good job, man. Don't really think they were very good kills, though. Now he has these two cav units, and he needs to snipe. Oh, but his general just died. Yeah, of course his general was always going to die, and the Midian cav just break, and this is just GG at this point. He can easily route these archers, or these light units, because their fatigue is so shit, but really tired, like, you only have this one Tarentine that's winded, like, you're gonna struggle to do anything. You can see this is the power of the Thracians. They just run after the Assyrians, and they can't actually run away. So he's gonna have precision shot, but he just loses. So yeah, good play from Evil Darkness. Not too complicated, just take the attack. He didn't defend with the pikes well enough, so the Thracians also did a really good job killing the pikes, which is a big thing. And so he just wins. But I think Grozny will want better Cav in the next game to really help his like kite. But I don't think he'll get Migdol again. Migdol was huge for the stamina advantage. Mm, not really sure. Sorry. Like, yeah, the pikes just died to the Thracian pelts and then they just rushed, I guess. But he didn't really get enough value out of the archers. Like, they shot the general, but it was so late. Like, he needed to like kite, and he needed a little bit better cav to like help that kite actually happen. So let's get to game two. Okay, we have certainly a different approach. It is Migdol again. I'm not sure why Evil Darkness would let it be Migdol twice. Like, when he bans, you should just ban Migdol because it's a desert map. Like, literally just ban Migdol and ban fucking Medlon, and you should be fine on Ariminum or Rugion as Tillis with the trees and the hills. But okay. So Grossy's gone for a very different approach. He has 5 slingers. It's a kite. He's got 1 Hellenic Cataphract, 2 Agima Cav, some mercenary horse skirmishers, which is fine. I would prefer Tarentines, but probably he's a little bit cost neutered because of the Chaka. The 5 slingers, he also has a Median Cav. He has like probably 4 Thorax swords, maybe? He has 4 Hillmen, so maybe not. Maybe only 3 Thorax swords. All good. He probably has some more Jav Cav on this link as well. Same army for Evil Darkness. No need to change it after it worked so well in the previous game. Um, Yeah, so there's a horse skirmish over here as well. But there is 4 Jav Cav against 2, which is going to make kiting a bit annoying. There's 2 Median Cav. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe going with like an extra Jav Cav here instead of a Median Cav would be fine. But I guess it's okay. Now the thing that's going for Evil Darkness here is the forest. Like the slingers are going to be much less effective in the forest. Um, and he has all this Jav Cav. He doesn't want to waste too much ammo here. He wants to save it for the Cav. But the problem for Grozny is he needs to make an impact on some of these cheaper units, the spears and the Celtic Warriors, so that he can get his Cav in. And also, of course, the Peltas are going to be quite good against this Cav. This is kind of why he brought the. This is, I assume, why he brought the Peltas in the first place. They ended up being anti-Pike in the last game, but here they're really going to shine as anti-Cav. And Tillis can just kind of like sit here together. Of course, the Eastern Slayers will start to make a dent, but you know, if he just rushes one flank, that's probably the play, and use the forest as cover the entire time. Makes it quite difficult. So again, Jav just keep taking that flank presence, shooting the spear warriors from the front, like not ideal. But again, he does have to deal with them somehow. He's gonna really want to use his Hillman to javelin the shit out of these spear warriors and kill them off. If he double javelins here, the Hillman will just win against these spear warriors. And with the deaths they've already taken from the slingers, so he wants to, yeah, he wants to, again, when you're kiting, you want to own the flanks, so he wants to kill off this unit, and then this Oathborn seems a lot more isolated without the support of the spear. Of course, he has these Javcav here as well, but then you can start to focus down the Oathborn. But you can't let these spear warriors live, because they will just rush you to death. Oh, I don't think he should go for his general charge. He's not going to. He's going to kite, continue to kite. Now he goes for the charge. Okay, but he's going to take a Javelin Volley for this. Like, I'm not sure why you wouldn't just go with the Hillman first, eat the Javelin Volley, and then if you want to charge with the General, you could do it after. But Cavalry Counter Tactics pops, the Thracian Pelt is in reserve, and now the Agima Cav general has already lost 50 men. He's going for the aggression on the other flank as well. Here he might get a little bit better of engagement. I guess not really. Takes two deaths to the javelins, and the peltas are again quite close by. He could go for this charge though. Try to kill off that peltas immediately. Hellenic Cataphract charges in, lose a bunch of men on the charge to the Celtic warriors. Yeah, peltas are gonna commit here, so all that action going down. Again, like, there's no need to charge a Spear Warrior with a Median Cav when you have a Thorax Sword, right? You just take the 1v1 with a Thorax Sword, you're easily winning there. Um, Reviewing all games? No, dude, I can't. There's like 50 billion games, dude. I would never be able to do that. It's just like selected ones from each group. There's like 15 games, I think, total. Seven series plus one game, so yeah, 15 games. Um, but yeah, I couldn't do everything. So anyway, on this flank, Celtic Skirmisher is gonna go down to the Median Cav, got a free charge. Unfortunately, it's not a Thracian Peltas though. The Thracians are gonna be fine. Very wide formation from Grozny as you expect, but again, this is a waste of Cav. He loses a lot of Hellenic Cataphracts as well. 55. This Agima Cav, 58, so not terrible. He's going to get a lot of good kills. You can see these units very far back. If these peltas were closer, these Hellenic Cataphracts would be getting owned. But he's going to get some good engagements. The Oathsworn are so far back that, I mean, they can't support these fights, which is exactly what Grozny wants. He wants to remove the cheap units, and he's getting that to do that for free because the Oathsworn aren't in support. So now he's just taking a fight against all the bad units without any of the Oathsworn except for right here. So all the cheap units are just going to die. And when that happens, it's going to be Oathsworn and some Peltas against the entire army of Seleucids except for some Hillmen that are going to die, and that's going to be super advantageous. So here he's again just committing on the flank here with this Thorax Sword because he wants to tie this down this Oathsworn so that he can flank shoot. But he has to be careful of the Javka, of course. Hellenic Cataphracts decide to go for it, but then they get like actually destroyed by the Thracian Peltas because they're just like the goat unit. And so the Hellenic Cataphracts are kind of dead already. The Sagama Cav is kind of okay. The Thorax Swords are going to kill everything in this blob, which is very nice. But on this link, he has to retreat. He's going to kill off this Celtic warrior, though. Actually, maybe not, because the recharge will come in, probably. So he's just cutting to this link. This is fine. But now, oh, he didn't see the Javcav. He forgot about the Javcav. And these horse skirmishers will do absolutely nothing against them. So this is turning quickly into a disaster, I would say. Because Tillis is wrapping this flank, but the flank that he's kiting to is already being overrun by the draft cab. He tried to use the general aggressively, but he needed the general to protect these slingers, actually. Let the slingers just shoot into this. It's okay to abandon this flank if you're going to win on this flank and just shoot down this Oathsworn. And, he wastes his Hellenic Cataphract too. He's a little bit too aggressive. Going into the Peltas is never going to work for you. So now the draft cab are just overwhelming the slingers, killing them off. And this game is probably already over at this point because he's already lost so many of his slingers. He only has 3 left, it looks like. And Tillis' wrap on this link was so quick. He had such a good fight. All he needed to do was like stall the rush until all the cheap units were just dead. But he let himself get flanked instead, so all the cheap units were able to survive. He had literally like Thorax Swords and Hillmen versus Levy Freeman Celtics and Spear Warriors all up this line with the Oathsworn flanking. Um, all you need to do is just like commit some units to stall these guys while the center just breaks in your favor, and then all of a sudden it's just Oathsworn against all the slingers. And of course, he needs to not lose his drive cav to the or loses slingers to the Jive Cav, of course. That's kind of like the most important thing, I suppose. But now Tillis is better here. He lost so much Cav trying to be aggressive, but his Hellenic Cav just ran into 2 Peltas and got insta-killed. And he has some Gamma Cav left, but nothing sufficient here with only 2 slingers. Like, oh, I guess 1 slinger does come back, but it can easily be hunted down by the raiding horse if they choose to. At this point, there's 2 more raiding horse here. His lack of Javcav really, really was a problem here. I think he needed to go for Tarentines, like 3 Tarentines, just to defend against the raiding horse, because what are these guys? The fucking horse skirmishers can do almost nothing against the raiding horse. If they want to go kill a slinger, yes, they can shoot them, but they can't melee them, so then the raiding horse will always be able to kill the slingers if there's no melee cav protection. So I think that was a bit risky. Now Gamma Cav dies some more javelins, and this is the problem with the barbarian spears, all of them have javelins, so if you're going to kite, you really need to wait until the very, very late game to start using your cav aggressively, because otherwise there'll just be javelins waiting for you at all times. So anyway, this is going to be pretty quickly in favor of Evil Darkness, so the Tillis rush was successful. The Peltas did their job, and, kind of easily win that. So well played to Evil Darkness. Uh, let's wait for the replays to come back. Okay, so we watch this. Okay, next up is Tila versus Sky Element, Rome versus Iceni, or Iceni versus Rome. Tila's Iceni, Sky Element's Rome. We'll see what he decides to do. So Iceni can bring, I think, quite a few melee. It's like 5 plus 2 cheap ones or something. But of course, they're going to be very weak in the cav department, also have no Jav cav. So you have to be worried about that. So let's see what Tila's gone for. He's gone for no Rider Gen. 2 veteran riders, 4 veteran riders, 2 swordband. That's the plus 2 that you can get, and then 5 melee, so probably heroic noble and 4 chosen swordband, I'd assume. Nope, 2 heroic nobles and 3 chosen swordband, very nice. He has some Levy Freeman and some spearband on the flanks, 2 of each, so on total. 2 Levy Freeman, 2 spearband, 2 swordband, 3 chosen swordband, 2 heroic nobles, 1 heroic rider, 4 veteran riders, and 4 Britain slingers, very nice. Britain Slinger is going to be quite devastating against Rome because they're cheap. Let's see what Sky Element has done. First of all, I don't think he has Javcav. I mean, they could be hidden in the forest, I suppose, but it doesn't look like it. So he has 3 Balearic Slingers, and, you know, I used to bring the Balearics as Rome as well, but I think they just don't trade effectively because you're always outnumbered. You don't really, and your Rome is not a faction that can get to the late game with their Slingers alive very easily because they only have elite Slingers, so they're easily, you know, they're often focus fired, which means they don't survive the late game and they just end up not being cost effective. The Syrian archers, on the other hand, are a bit cheaper and you can just use them to, you know, you don't have to get to the late game with Syrians. You can just shoot enemy units quickly and they will die fast because the Syrians do so much damage. And they have 40 armor as well, so they can withstand some light peppering from enemy slingers. So, yeah, Balearics I don't feel like often. Okay, so, I think I have one of his games, yeah. Don't worry, it's on the way. But yeah, Rome has 3 Triaria, which feels like a lot of Triaria. He has 3 Armored Legionnaires, which is probably, like, in my opinion, the worst unit you can go for. Like, they're so expensive. They're more expensive than Abacadi and Veteran Legionnaires. They're not any better in melee. In fact, they're worse in melee, but they do have a 95 armor, but what do you need the armor for, really? Like, you just need Abacadi here to win it in the melee. Of course, they'll lose to the Heroic Nobles, but that is what it is. He has a lot of equites, stock equites. No shock cav as well. I feel like you really need the shock cav here. I just feel like this is terrible for Skyland. Like, he doesn't have enough infantry to actually win against the heroic nobles and especially with these 2 swordband as well. The 2 heroic nobles are gonna kill a lot here. The chosen swordband are tough as well. And all you have is equites to counter that. Like fucking equites, dude. They fucking suck. Like, veteran riders are actually better than equites. So you have no infantry advantage, you don't have a cav advantage. Your slinger advantage is nullified because it's 4 versus 2 and the Britain slingers are quite good. Or 4 versus 3 and the Britain slingers are quite good. You have a fucking Legatus, which is useless. And now you have some, like, Vigiles and Hastati. He probably has 3 Hastati. But this feels quite difficult to win. I think Teal just wins with a straight-up melee fight here. And there's not much Skylandman can actually do about it. He uses Intimidate. Wait, I gotta check something real quick. Because Tilla, okay, in one of the like forum, Tilla wrote something funny in the forum. I need to see because it might have been for this game. Was this group 1 maybe? Nope. Group 2 maybe? Yeah, okay, wait. Oh, no, it was against Altered. Okay, never mind. Damn. But he's using the Fear General, which is very strange. He wants to make sure that this unit cannot go into Phalanx, I guess? Is probably what I'm guessing. Doesn't want to let them go into Square, sorry. Which I guess is okay, but it doesn't really strike me as a great move. Over second win, especially in a desert map, right? You're gonna need that second win. But anyway, Psycho is taking a lot of losses. The cav charges just come in. Veteran riders seeming to get the better of that. Levy Freeman already on the flank here, and the Vigiles are dead. And again, he has no answer for these Levy Freeman because the Vigiles will lose to them 1 versus 1. And in the center, you're just like blobbing Triarii and Armored Legionnaires against these Heroic Nobles and Chosen Swordband, which are going to do absolutely fine in this fight. So I think he's going to lose quite quickly here, actually. I think he's going to get overrun. Heroic Nobles charging in. Again, he just doesn't have an answer for this infantry fight. Levy Freeman going to kill off these Sock Equites. Again, why would you charge Sock Equites here when you have the Hastati to deal with this? Now this Equite is dead. He's got some Equites here, 50 men. Veteran Riders here, 60. So he got the better of the cav engagement to Tila. at the start at least. Armored Legionnaires gonna come in here. They will do well against Chosen Swordband, of course, but the slingers for the Blair slingers as well, getting some nice shots. But the Cav are getting focused down by Tula, and this is all good because Tula knows he can sustain some losses on his infantry. If his slingers, if the Cav is dead and he already lost, like look how much low these equites are. If the Cav is in the favor of Tula, these Bleriks will not last long enough to do enough damage, and then he'll have his heroic nobles, some infantry, and the slingers and Cav in the late game more than enough to get the dub, most likely. And that's a big problem. So this is again the problem with the Bleriks is if they can't survive until to use all their ammo, they're really not worth it. Whereas the Syrians will be able to use their ammo quite quickly and do more damage with it early on in the game, which will help Rome stabilize. Whereas the long-term power of the Bleriks is not very useful because they're not going to get to the late game. They're not really using their whole power. And now almost all of the Equites are already dead. Uh, you got Cav breaking into the back lines. You have a full veteran rider here, another full veteran rider here, full heroic rider here, or 59 heroic rider, 49, sorry, heroic rider there. So there's not enough Cav here to defend. He did kill off the flanking Levy Freeman, which I guess stabilizes for a bit. But the slingers, you can see, still just focus firing the blob heavily here. Intimidate General could be used to like route this Armored Legionnaire right now. I could just use the, I don't even know what it's fucking called, because I never used this ability. War Cry. War Cry, that's the one that's like -5 morale or some shit. But you can see the flank getting busted through the Triarch, just getting held down by Olivia Freeman. They are no longer in the fight. They will get rolled by these heroic nobles or something later. Um, Actually, they're going to go recharge these armored legionnaires. Probably a better move. And you can see the Cav just overwhelming in the center. He has way more Cav if he needs it. This armored legionnaire is breaking through, but again, that's not a problem. We can just shoot it down later. Our infantry is going to win here with the heroic noble. Actually down to 65, so it was getting focused by the Bleriks probably. But 63 chosen swords, okay. You know, the infantry fight over here on this flank is okay. But he's desperately losing over here. And of course he's losing the most important thing, which is the Cav, because now these slingers are all going to die. He uses War Cry, so he tries to route this unit. I guess no, they just all die before they can even get War Cry on. And now we can just commit through the center here, get to the slingers, Cav and spears in the back, and this should be an easy cleanup in the late game. He has infantry advantage as well. So again, yeah, I don't think Sky Element really had a play here. Hello, Marcus, what's up? Yeah, I don't really think Sky Element had a win condition here. I literally think he just had worse everything, which is, of course, quite a big problem, you might say. The Armored Legionnaires were playing into that. Also not having the Shock Cav. If you have the Shock Cav, that gives you a big Cav advantage, because the Shock Cav will own the Veteran Riders pretty easily. Um, but yeah, this is just going to be cleaned up city for Attila. Wins the first game quite comfortably, I would say. Heroic Noble's just unstoppable here. The Chosen Swordband not really doing that much, but they were getting double teamed by Armored Legionnaires and Triare, so you might expect that. But look at the Slingers, like again, not paying off whatsoever. The Slingers for Teal doing much better, and of course having more ammo. And the Cav advantage was just secured very early on, with the Sock Equites and the Equites not being... I mean, Sock Equites are probably good against Veteran Riders, but they just got owned in the initial Cav fight. All these spear support, the Levy Freeman and the Spearman, were a big problem as well. And a pretty fast and comfortable win for Tilo there. We can watch the second game though. Does he change anything? Does not seem like either player has changed a damn thing, which is a bit annoying. If I'm Sky Element here, I feel like that game did not go well for me. I should change something, but I guess not. So again, 3 Sock Equites, 2 Equites Legatus, 3 Armored Legionnaires, 3 Hastati, 3 Triarii, 3 Bolerics, and 2 Vigiles is the army for Sky Element and Rome. And 2 Heroic Nobles, 3 Chosen Swordband, 4 Slingers, 4 Veteran Riders, Noble Rider Gen, 2 Levy Free, 2 Spearband, 2 Swordband is the army for Tila. Hello, Cypher. What's up? Um, and okay, we immediately get the same thing. Tila, honestly, he's like, fuck the Bleriks, I'm just gonna shoot the Cav units. He sees that this unit can't go into square because he popped Intimidate on them. I wonder if this thing Tila is gonna do the whole tournament, and go for this general ability. I think it's terrible, but, you know, it's to each their own. Heroic Rider Noble's gonna charge in here, but they use their javelins on the Terraria, unfortunately. Oh, he tries to javelin the Cav. Okay, so he's not gonna even get a charge here, and the Armored Legionnaires are gonna start to get owned by the Heroic Nobles. Big Cav fight, or flank fight, sorry. Again, Teal doing the same thing. Attack the flank, and attack here, and he knows that he has a Swordman and a Larry Free against a Hastati, a Vigile, and he also has this extra Spearband, so he has an extra unit here, and the Hastati and the Vigiles are going to struggle here. He's going to try to wrap around the flank with his Cav and then just win on the flank. He's just rushing this flank, completely abandoning his right side, attacking only the left, which is completely fine. So again, he gets a nice Levy Freeman engagement on the Sakikutes here, killing quite a few with javelins. And now the Hastati are isolated. They're going to lose this fight against the Sword Band, and because the Sword Band got a charge. And the Vigilantes are going to go down to the Spear Band, and the Levy Freeman are again just spare, pushing back the Cav. Now, of course, these Armored Legionnaires are going to commit into here, which is, excellent for them. But the Cav is just being shot the whole time. So these Equities are going to start to take a lot of... Oh, shit, he just did the thing. He has to quickly remedy the situation. This is very unfortunate. He just, like, microed everything. So that's going to be a big benefit for for Sky Elements. But it's okay. It looks like he stabilized the situation. This is the right move. Just retreat behind your lines. And again, you can see the Cav just owning the Vigilantes and the Hastati here. Of course, the Armored Legionnaires are going to start to win, but there's so much spare infantry here. The Slinger is shooting the flank of these Armored Legionnaires, but the Armored Legionnaires have a lot of armor, as their name implies. So Skyland is doing a better job here because he's not insta losing on the flank. And because Tilo decided to rush this side, remember last game Tilo was able to surround on both sides. Now it's only going to be on this side, so he can just rotate his support over here. He's winning on this flank. He's actually winning some of these engagements in the center, although the heroic nobles are going to own the true area. So now he has a lot more support, which means his Balearics can be firing for a lot longer, unlike last game where they pretty much immediately got rushed down. Um, it's a handicap, exactly. Like, bit unfortunate, you might say, but it's okay. It looks like he's stabilized the situation. His army is a lot more condensed than it maybe should have been, but at least it's not running over here. Anyway, the Saudi are going to go down. Tries to Warcry them actually, but doesn't really do anything. -5 morale is not a huge benefit, to be honest. And now these Cav are way too aggressive. Like, they're just getting owned by javelins. Tula siphoning off his support to attack the flank here. He's got the Cav to deal with this. The Blerks are pretty healthy, though. Nice job running away here, just taking these guys out of position. Now he can just take this fight against the Sakekutes, kill them off. His infantry, of course, he rushed this flank to Tila, so he's going to win on this flank. He's busting through. He's going to get the rear charge of these Armored Legionnaires, which are 111 men, so in Sword Band 112. These heroic nobles are a bit low. They got rear javelins there by the Hastati, which probably did a lot of damage. But the Chosen Sword Band is full here as well. Now finally he's getting into the Slingers, and again, you really, as Rome, cannot protect your missiles indefinitely. It's quite difficult. So he's just going to start to lose his Balearics. And yes, they've done more in this game, 24 kills, 15, but still, like, almost nothing. And look at the Slingers for for Iceni, sorry, just freely firing the whole game. And this is the thing, if your Slingers are free the entire game to shoot, and the enemy Slingers are always under pressure, your Slingers are just inevitably going to do more in that fight. And that's what's happening here. Like, the Slingers for Tila just focus whatever they want, freely. We shoot to Cav, we shoot to the back of infantry units, like whatever. Whereas the Slingers for Rome are just running for their fucking lives, trying to survive. And they might survive, but they're not shooting, which means the Slingers are having so much impact for Iceni, but the infantry fight is turning in Iceni's favor quite heavily because the Blerks can't focus down the heroic nobles. So you can see one armored legionnaire here, but this guy's very out of position. Not really useful. I'm not sure if you should really go for this charge. Like, the armored legionnaires aren't going to care about this rear charge very much, and you're just going to lose a lot of men doing this. He tries to war cry, but it's not going to run anything, obviously. And now you can see the Blerks getting shot. I guess actually Tila's shooting the Cav, most likely, yeah. Just killing off the Cav. But he is losing quite a bit of his own Cav, so there might be an endgame on at least. The armored legionnaires almost are out there, actually. But the heroic riders have to retreat. But they lose, like, not too many men, I guess. It's probably a good charge. But now, okay, the Cav is going to go down, and the Roman Cav is so weak here that they can't really kill the Slingers off. And now again, you just have a weakened Balearics because they got charged, are not going to do anything against these full strength Britain Slingers. And the infantry fight is not going in your favor either. So the Balearics are just not being cost effective here at all. This Rome army is not bussin'. Okay, true, I suppose. You really like that word, Arash, I see. And the Slinger is now just focusing on their Balearics. They'll just kill the Balearics pretty easily here. Now, he does have no Cav except for his general left, but there's only 2 Cav for Rome, 45 and 28. But there's just so much support. I think the Slingers will be okay. I don't think he can rush the Slingers down very effectively with so much infantry here. So now he can just kind of sit there, take a Slinger war. Slingers are killing off all the remaining infantry. The Balearics still just moving around, not shooting, still pressured by infantry units. They're trying to shoot infantry, but there's just not enough here, obviously. Like, obviously, the infantry for Iceni is sufficient. Again, just chasing the Slingers around with cheap-ass units so they can't fire. Meanwhile, you get to shoot whatever you want with your Slingers. which means the cav are gonna die. It just defends against both. It tries to war cry. Actually, might have been pretty effective there. And now it's just pretty simple endgame. And yeah, again the slingers here. Again, like the infantry was pretty much traded off, but even then the Iceni infantry was stronger. But a big part of why the Iceni infantry won so cleanly was the Iceni slingers just shooting things the entire game. Nice work, yeah. But like the Iceni slingers shooting infantry the entire game with the Blurks not doing shit, and of course the Iceni slingers were also shooting cav, so just so much impact from them that the infantry war, which could have been close, I guess, was just turned into their favor. And you can see, look at the kills on the Iceni slingers. One Balearic, okay, did quite well, I suppose, but the other two almost nothing, and these slingers easily having more impact, and they also cost a bit less overall. I think this costs, 560 times 3 is 1680, and these are like 380 times 4 is something like 1420, something like that. 1520 actually. So about the same total costs. Bit less on the Britain Slingers, but a lot more kills. We'll take that any day of the week, pretty much. The Cav was not as effective as in the last game, probably because well, A, he had that weird miss micro, but B, he also like only rushed one side instead of attacking both flanks at once. Um, but if you just think about this, like, right, it's 11 infantry on 11 infantry, but the Triarii and the our legionnaires were fighting like together in the center, and then you have four slingers and this cav, um, and the fact of the matter is like because it was 11 infantry versus 11 infantry, but it wasn't like one versus ones, right? Tila had an advantage on the flanks. The Balearics get pressured, and now all of a sudden you have better cav because the Iceni slingers are free to shoot the enemy cav. Warcry is just funny, but not effective at all. True, very true. But anyway, GG's. Tila with the win there. Now, Arash versus Acer. Epirus versus Mastodon. Pretty classic matchup. Um, let's see what. So Acer asked me about this matchup. Mm, I didn't know exactly what Teal would take. Mastodon, I feel like, is a very underrated faction because they can just spam Thessalians, and it's like kind of OP. But, um, okay, Acer has 5 Thessalians. I didn't know they could actually take 5 same, but okay, I guess they can. 5 Thessalians, Rolcav Gen, Slinger, Rodian, and Slinger, so pretty weak Slinger force, but he does have a Rodian in there. He has a Skirmisher Cab, which I never like taking because they're so bad when you have Tarentines and as an option, so kind of unfortunate. But he has 3 Jav Cab against the 3 Tarentines, and he has the classic Epirus, 3 Sam Knights, 3 Italian Sword, and he just has 2 Militia Hoplites in front. No Pike, so pretty weak infantry force, but very strong Cav force. Um, worth a shot. Seems. Oh, well, you labeled it as the first one, dog. So, okay, we can go back. We'll go back. We'll go back. We want to watch them in order, to really understand how the adaptation. Yeah, I remember you told me you took like 5 Thessalians in the second game. So, okay, here. Wait, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, well maybe. Okay, well I guess this is the first game. So we're on Medlon. Anyway, same matchup. But Sarah does still have the same army, pretty much, except that he has probably 3 cheap slingers. Oh no, he's a peltist. Okay, two slingers, a peltist for 3 Tarentines. The rest of the army is the same. Um, Arash has 2 Thracian Cav, 1 Tarentine, 5 Slingers looks like, or maybe some Rhodians. Let's see, Slinger, Rhodian, Rhodian. Oh my god, 3 Rhodians, holy shit. 3 Rhodians, 2 Slingers, 3 Thracian Warriors, and 3 Thorax Swords with 4 Thessalians and a comp. Gen. So 1 cavalry advantage for Acer. That could be huge because he's trying to kite. I think really all you have to do here, it's actually pretty straightforward. You just take the melee fight, 1 versus 1 everywhere. You take the Jav Cav fight, 1 versus 1 everywhere, and you just have an extra Cav, and you just kill the Slingers, right? Like, with the Militia Hoplites as well. That seems like the most straightforward way to win this. Let's skip the skirmishing phase. But yeah, all good. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think Arash is going to have a tough time keeping the Slingers alive. However, if he can keep the Slingers alive, Sarah's kind of fucked, right? Because 5 slingers with 3 Rhodians. What Arashtar needs to do is make sure his slingers can kill some cav before the cav can collapse on the slingers, because the cav die early on, either trying to kill infantry or just because of the Rhodian fire. Then they'll not be healthy enough to actually kill the slingers, and then, it's all good in the hood. This should actually be, like, yeah, he needs to be very aggressive, Acer here, to push back the Jav cav and just, attack everywhere, essentially, and use his numbers advantage. Militia hoplites being shot down. I guess there's like, I don't really care if you shoot militia hoplites. That's probably fine. Now he rushes. He's gonna go, it looks like he's gonna go for the straight up melee fight. And Arash is gonna kite. Kind of logical. But he's gonna have to turn around here and fight because otherwise his slingers are gonna get caught. So he does turn around. He's gonna get some javelins. But again, this is fine for Arash, right? Because he's gonna lose so many Thessalians doing this that um, the cav for Mastodon is going to be quite a bit better. It does get some really nice charges, though, onto the Thracian warriors. Baits the charge with the companion, doesn't want to fight there. The Tarentines just rush the Thracian cav, can kill them in melee easily with the mass difference. Big charges in the center. This charge might get kind of fucked because of his own unit. Oh, I don't know about turning around there. He should have just committed. Weird charges everywhere. Battle, battle, battle. Whatever, pretty standard. But I think Arash survives the first part of this game pretty well, I would say, because he keeps a lot of his cav alive, and he keeps his slingers alive. However, the problem is, the cav did get some nice charges into the infantry, so now the Samnites are going to have a huge advantage against the Thorax Swords, bigger than they already do. And so now, the game plan kind of shifts. If Acer plays it this way, all he needs to do is just wait for his infantry to win now, and not lose more cav. Because if he runs out of cav, he's going to lose the game. But if he can let his infantry just win the game, because all of the cav is weak for Acer, but the infantry for Arash is also weak. If he can just let his infantry win and just chill with his cav, then he can just chase the slingers down with the cav plus infantry endgame against the slingers and cav. Um, so it's just a puck fest right now. Nothing much going on. Sometimes you get countercharged by the Thessalians, so that helps even out the Javcav war, because if the Javcav die for Arash, he's in big, big trouble. But he seems to have the upper hand over here, and here he kind of trades 1 for 1, so it's not terrible. The cav for Acer, I think, is a little too weak now, because you can see there's like healthy cav here, 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 and here, whereas there's only like, okay, decent healthy cav here, but it's going to get shot down, because there's no pressure on the slingers now. Because he came only for a frontal engagement, the infantry, yes, the infantry is almost completely dead for Arash, but Acer commits so much cav and keeps them in range of the slingers for so long that the cav is almost all dead. And yes, the infantry is going to be dead for Arash any second now, but there's not enough cav, I don't think, to chase the slingers down. But now, okay, so I actually was watching the first one first. Very unfortunate. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So this may be the second game, but all good. So now, okay, look, infantry. Okay, right here he's actually winning, but everywhere else the infantry is. Oh, okay, that's a militia hoplite. The infantry is winning for the side of Ser, but there's still 5 slingers and healthy cav left alive. Arash needs to not rush anything right now. He's completely winning this game if he just chills. He doesn't need to commit for the slingers. He doesn't need to commit on the infantry. Let the slingers kill the infantry here. Here he's gonna get, okay, he gets a good charge in with his general, I guess, on the Samnite, kills it off for free. But this is like crazy. This is like psycho shit. Like, there's no need to kill the slinger. Like, you have 6 slinger, 5 slingers. Like, you're gonna kill the slingers eventually. Trust me. Here he's gonna get a root charge. This is actually a good play because he's gonna allow some infantry to live. You want some of your infantry to be alive in the late game so that you can, help out your slingers. And you can have 2 thorax swords alive. Over here though, the rush is gonna begin on the slingers. Samnites are alive here. Pelter's nice job shooting down these Thessalians, so you can have pretty, average health Thessalians, some weak Thessalians. Here the general, though, is quite strong, but the companion general is also very strong. So not a lot of cav left on either side, but I think that's okay for Mastodon here. They have better slingers, and there's not a whole lot of infantry left here either, so I feel like this should be pretty clean for the side of Arash to just win with the kite. And it seems like he's going to do that. I mean, the general's healthy here. There's some infantry left, but the infantry is getting shot to death. Here, okay, this is a bit of a waste of the Thracian cav. Like, killing the slinger is not a it's not really that important, right? Because the slinger is just not going to do shit against 5 good slingers. So okay, now the problem for Arash is he kind of overcommitted, right? He didn't need to go for these slingers, but he committed all out for them, and now he's lost a lot of his cav. Now Asir can just recommit, and there might not be enough left to stop all the cav. Like if he runs at the slingers with infantry first, and then follows up with cav, so that you can just like the slingers can't turn around and shoot, he can potentially kill off the slingers. But it's going to be quite a close endgame now. Whereas I think if Arash just chilled with like 2 or 3 cav back here and just started shooting infantry while the infantry fight was still going on, he would just easily win. But now, okay, the general, like, it's just so aggressive. Like, you just need to, there's no need to go after anything here because the slingers are going to kill everything. Like, the general just needs to sit back and defend the slingers. As long as the slingers live to the late game here, Arash will 100% win this. He doesn't need to go killing off slingers and cav with his general right now. Just let the slingers do the hard work for you. And now it's going to be a very interesting endgame where you have a lot of cav, more cav, let's say, for, um, for Epirus. And the general can probably get to this cav, but there's going to be some cav here. The problem for Asera is this rush is not very well timed. He needed this infantry to run at the slingers first, and then the cav, because this general is not close enough to follow up on this. The fact that the slingers can all focus fire the Tarentines is a huge problem. And now, of course, the general for Rash is also going to kill off that Thessalian. So I think if the rush was better timed here, maybe you can win. But I think Arash got the better of the mid game, where he was able to kill so much of the cav, and actually evened out the infantry fight quite a bit. So now Sarah has to run away with his general, but he takes too many losses there, and that should spell disaster. Because the companion general is also a bit weak here, but there's so many slingers, and the 3 of them are Radiants again, so what you need to do now is rush this way with this infantry, and then just rush in with the fucking general and hope you can kill the slingers. The general, of course, okay, like, again, committing your general here is stupid, I think. Like, you're just risking him dying. But I guess he gets the kill. Again, you can just shoot those units, and it'd be fine. Peltas is gonna die, and yeah, I think we should be able to clean this up pretty. Oh, he had so many Thessalians. Holy shit. Yeah, again, with all those Thessalians, I didn't even realize they were there. If they like all charge at the same time, I don't think the Cav can kill everything, or the Slingers can kill all the Cav there. But the fact that I think Asar just went for the melee attack, but didn't win the melee fight decisively enough because, yes, he got nice Thessalian charges into the infantry, but his infantry follow-up was a bit late, and the Slingers just said, okay, I can just shoot the entire time. They felt no pressure until late in the game, so they were able to even out the infantry fight by just shooting. But that might have been game 2, but oh well, what are you gonna do? So now, no, I have to watch game 1 now, right? Yes, okay. A bit confusing, but anyway. Game 1, that actually is game 1, but we thought it was game 2. So anyway, we kind of saw the beginning of this, so we already know. It's 2 Terratines and a Skirmisher Cav, Rhodian and 2 Slingers, 5 Thessalians in the Gen, 3 Italians, 3 Samnites, 2 Militia Hoplites. And Arash has less of a kite in this game. He has three Tarentines. Maybe he didn't like, I don't know, he didn't want to go for the kites, whatever. He has 4 regular slingers. 3, only 3 thorax swords, huh? 3 thorax swords. Oh, he has like 3 Thurio spears for some reason. Okay, it's kind of weird. 3 Thurio spears, 4 cav, and a companion general. So here I think Acer is just better because the Thurio spears are kind of useless. He has so much cav, and the militia hoplites can just tie down the Thurio spears, get the engagement with the Semnites on the thorax swords, win that pretty easily. And the slinger war is gonna be very close with the 4 slingers versus the 3 with a Rune. Probably better for the 4 slingers, but not terrible. Yeah. So oh wait, maybe he has 4 cav though. So 4 cav versus 6 is huge for uh the side of Epirus. Like this should be a huge advantage. Yes, there's a bunch of Thurio Spears, but I'm not sure you don't just take like drop 2 of the Thurio Spears to get an extra Thessalian and like a Militia Hoplite or something, or another Slinger. Feels like better. Thurio Spears are just like kind of useless in my opinion, but we'll see. Maybe they will perform an epic feat. Okay, big Javcav trades. Sarah, he knows he has rear shots here, so he might as well chase because he's gonna take less damage because he's gonna get shot in the front. And now he's not gonna get shot in the rear. So he gets out, gets the better of that exchange, I would assume. 29, 32, 42, 59. Yeah, so he gets the better of that. Over here, did the skirmisher cav die or something? Oh yeah, the skirmisher cav died because they suck. Now we're gonna get melee fights in the center. Oh, okay. Trying to shoot the cav early on. Fair enough. Actually gonna get some nice shots as well. Why take this army? I don't know. Good question. Hello, Sigurd. Good question, Arash. You should. The army you took in the second game was good. Also, Arash, why not take like 6 Thessalians sometime? Or like 6 fucking slingers? Wouldn't that be like epic and strong? General gonna get focused down early here by the Rodian and the Slinger. He knows he's not gonna charge into this like much hoplite with the Cav. Here he is a bit exposed though, and he's gonna get rear charge. He might as well turn around at this point. He's gonna get owned with this rear charge here. That's a bad start, and also these Thessalians getting shot by the Throw Spear. Nice phalanx though. You'll see the phalanx are actually quite effective at repelling these Cav. Nice mass with that. But some will break it into the slingers though and do quite a bit of damage. Nice return javelin volley though. Thessalians make it out pretty much unscathed. Thorax swords are in, but the Samnites will win this fight. The Thessalians are going to take a lot more damage because of the two Thurios here. But again, there's a lot more, there's a lot more Thessalians for the side of Acer, and he's using them here to get in on the Thorax swords and on the Thracians. The Samnites are mostly on this flank, it looks like, all three of them in fact. So over here it's like a hold. He's trying to win on this side. Thorax Sword is getting owned by Samnites, as we expect. Here, oh, big battle going down here. And again, the additional mobility, those extra Thessalians helping out here. Again, the Thurius Spear kind of left in the dust. And now it should be pretty free. I think he's going to lose on this flank, Acer, but he should win on the right. And you're already shooting the General down. The General took a Javelin Volley, so his HP is not great, and so the Slingers are going to start to do a lot of damage. The Slingers for Arash don't really have a great target right now. This Sicilian's gonna die to the Thracians though. So it's interesting because like over here are two Italian swords, but over here are two Thracians. So the right side for Acer is much better. His left he's gonna lose. He gets a nice charge on these thorax swords, but this is kind of a waste because these Sicilians are just gonna die. Now he says, okay, I have more numbers. Let me just break through. I guess he kind of stayed in too long here though, and he's gonna end up losing this fight. But the general will come clean up the Thurio Spear. Nice charge. The Italian sword's on the way as well. Big blob fight in the center, but the Samnites will really enjoy this. Over here, though, the Thessalians are breaking through. He does have a free Tarentine over here. They're exhausted, though, somehow. But also, the Thessalians are breaking in here, Thessalians breaking in here. So again, just on both right sides, you're winning. There's going to be a, inevitable wrap play here. But he has, this is a clutch Thessalian here that comes back, maybe it wasn't ready, but it goes in reserve, stops this Thessalian in its tracks. Now the slingers can shoot it, and the general will be, around to protect these slingers later. It goes for a rear charge here, but the Sandmites aren't really going to care about that. It wasn't a great charge. The general will tie down this Thessalian, so nice job there. He's going to commit for the slingers here, but I mean, he might be able to do that, but this other Thessalian is no longer chasing, so now just shoots it in the front. Oh my god. Destruction. And the slingers are protected, but the slingers for Macedon are also protected. The Thessalian's 28. Now again, you can just retreat here. I guess there's quite a few like weak Thessalian units here. So he's gonna kill this one off first because it was in the back here. He knows that this unit's gonna get tied down by this Thessalian for at least a second, so these slingers can escape. But now this one Tarentine, huge, coming back all the way around the flank. It is exhausted though, so it's very fucking slow. The infantry fight, as you'd expect, probably in the favor of Epirus at this point, because there's 3 Samnites, and these Thorax swords are pretty weak. The Thessalians realize they can't really win this fight, so they're just going to try to run away, probably. But that's okay. He doesn't need to kill the Slingers now, because there's the Slingers here. But the Tarentine is on the way. Split up, dog, split up. If you split up here, this Tarentine is exhausted, you'll only kill 1 Slinger before the General wins this fight and come save them here. But now the pressure has been relieved on this flank, and the pressure is not relieved on the Slingers. So now these Slingers will just kill off the, Thorax swords in the back, and the infantry will be in the favor of Sarah. He decides to go back. No, he's going to go for the Slingers. This is the right play, and this should be pretty free. But yeah, the extra, again, it's just the numbers of Cav. You can see it kind of playing out in the end with the extra 2 Cav units, which is the, he had, 1 more Cav to start out with, but he also killed the Tarentine for free. And it's pretty straightforward win for Acer. Nothing complicated, just he was better on his right, Arash was better on Acer's left, but in the end, the Samnites being so strong and also having the extra cav meant that the slingers for Acer were more protected, and eventually the Tarantine got to the Slingers of Macedon, and it just ends the game. And of course, the general for Macedon also took a lot more damage than the Hellenic Royal Cav, which was a big deal. But GG's. Next up is Alexander versus Arash Royal. So Swaby versus Macedon, pretty interesting. I always like seeing Swaby, see how people are using them. We are here on Migdal, and yeah, Swaby, interesting faction with the fast charge course, and looks like he's not using it. So forget what I said. Not sure why you wouldn't use fast charge, to be honest. But anyway, he has 4 Germanic slingers. He's got Spear Wall up front for Spear Wall to defend against Cav, sure. You know Macedon can bring those Thessalians, so Spear Wall are probably your best bet against them because they're at least medium for real, and they have good anti-Cav, good melee defense, good shield screen, all that. He has 2 Bloodsworn, he has 2 Swordmasters, Spear Brother, Rider of the Hunt, Strange. He does have the 4 Javcav though to kill enemy slingers. It's gonna be hard to kite, just maybe because of the missile power of the Germanic slingers. But, you know, possible maybe. And then, yeah, now for the side of Arash, he does have, okay, he has a lot of cav, that's good. He has 5 cav, looks like. He has some pikes, which is fine. 4 Levy pikemen, 3 thorax swords, 3 thracians, and some slingers. But I don't know about this, because the Levy pikes are good against a fast charge, but there's no fast charge in play. I don't know, because no fast charge, like, it makes Emperor's job easy, Macedon's job easier. But yeah, I guess the pikes are a little bit less useful, but the fact that you don't have a fast charge means your units are just going to really struggle in extended melee as Swaby, which is a big problem. Swaby has the missile advantage, so they can just take the Slinger War. They also have the Jab Cav advantage, but I'm not sure that you can kill all the Cav here. Of course, you have a lot of Javelins. Oh, he has 2 Wodenaz here, by the way. It's General's Wodenaz. There's also another Wodenaz here, which is very nice. But yeah, it's going to be on Arash to just kind of like tank this damage and try to kill the Swordmasters with the Cav, but to do this, you really need to kill the Spear Wall. So you need your pikes to be aggressive, I think, and try to like force units to fight them so they can get some kills. Because otherwise, I feel like he doesn't really have a way to kill any of the Spear Wall, and that means that the Cav are not going to be very effective. I feel like the pikes are not a great unit in this matchup. You had a lot of 1-1s, yeah, fair enough. I think that's like expected. People make good adjustments. So now the Javcav advantage coming into play. There's only 2 Terrantines against 4 Javcavs, so you should expect them to do quite well. Nice shots. Actually getting a kill already on the companions. So that's nicely done from the Javcav. Slingers, just trying to focus fire, but again, you don't want to take a Slinger war against the Germanic Slingers, you're just going to lose. So you might as well just like rush, essentially, and then shoot infantry with your Slingers or Cav or something. But the Terrantines are having a tough time alone out here. So just triple speed. Again, you're just gonna lose the Slinger War. I don't know what they're trying to shoot even. They're trying to shoot this Germanic Slinger, but in the forest, like 60% block chance, there's no way they're ever gonna take any losses. Javcow just harassing, killing off some Tarantines, very nice. Get rid of the Tarantines, that's gonna be a big problem for Arash to deal with. Okay, we got some rush going on now, but they're shooting the Thracians. Again, very nice target selection. Germanic Slingers don't need to shoot the enemy Slingers because they don't take damage to the enemy Slingers. They can just shoot the Thracians. A much weaker to missile target. And also part of the infantry corps, of course. But now he's going in with the spear ball here, probably just to get the javelins off, I'd assume. On the Thracians will probably do a lot of damage. But I would take this fight from Mirash here, let the spear wall die to the Thracians and the pikes, and then all of a sudden you have no defense against Cav. So I'm not really sure why Alexander decides to take that fight, really. Spear wall chilling over here. But now he can commit with his Bloodsworn and his Wodenaz. But now he's getting a fight with the Pikes. I feel like Alexander may be misplaying this slightly because he's letting his anti-cav die to the melee, and that means if the anti-cav dies for Swaby, it doesn't matter how good your melee is, like the cav's gonna kill everything. So you should really just take this fight with the melee units, and just win the fight on the flanks with the Swordmasters. Bait in the center, you don't need to fight. Just wait for the Swordmaster to kill everything on the flanks with the Wodenaz, and then, you know, use your spear wall against the cav if Rush has to go for some desperation play. Um, but these Thessalians are breaking through, and this is a big problem, of course. And now again, because the spear wall are tied down, the Thessalians can just go after the slingers, kill them off. The Suebi cav though is going for another attack on the Tarentines. They didn't get a charge, so they'll just easily win. The Scout Riders will easily win. However, there are some Thessalians coming in, so Alexander has to bail on this fight. But the Tarentines, or the Thessalians, are just doing so much damage here. Riders of the Hunt may have actually got a good fight here. Maybe they didn't take a huge charge on the Thessalians, or by the Thessalians, so they'll do okay here. I feel like Arash should either commit. Well, there's a lot of units back here now, but there are not many cav, right? There's no cav, there's just spears, so you can just run away and keep chasing the slingers down, which is what he's doing. This is smart. And, who really cares what happens in the melee department? As long as you get some kills in the melee, which he's doing. Yes, the Swordmasters will be alive, but you have slingers. As long as you can protect them, you have cav. And that should be more than sufficient to deal with any sort of melee threat in the end game. Because really the only melee that's going to survive the late game is the Swordmasters and the Wodenaz. And maybe the Spear Wall as well, but they should, since the Spear Wall took a melee fight, they're all going to die. They're not good in melee, necessarily. They're good defensively, that's pretty much it. Riders of the Hunt going to go down to this charge of the Thessalians. He probably wants to do that to protect the slingers here. But some of his slingers are going down now because some infantry is breaking through. Thanks probably to these Wodenaz, or Spear Wall, I guess. And there was a Wodenaz in the center here. So maybe breaking through, and now the Macedonian slingers are under threat. And if the Macedonian slingers die, it's not the end of the world, per se. But he's not killed quite enough of these Germanic slingers yet to have a clear winning endgame against the Swordmasters. But the Swordmasters are kind of taking some losses here. The Pikes, they're doing their thing. He's pressing attack orders. He's trying to get those Pikes in there. They have 20 kills. Okay. But now the Scout Riders are going down slowly, but they're not routing. See, like, they routed, but they're 43 men. So they're coming back. They are exhausted, though. And here, the Thessalians are going to kill off the slingers. Swordmasters surviving, 91 men here. 101 men there, so quite healthy Swordmasters. And I don't think there's quite enough cav left for Epirus, or Macedon, sorry. They didn't really get that clean win against the for his cav, so he taken so many cav losses that he doesn't actually have enough cav to kill the Swordmasters, probably. There are still a lot of Scout Riders left as well, all 3 of them. So, I think this should be pretty clinical for Alexander to just take. 4 1-1s, damn. That's quite a few, yeah. But ties are all good. Just beef this Javcav here, but it shouldn't matter. He takes one, but he can't get the other one. I guess this Scout Rider did route as well. They were very tired. That was the one thing, because it's a desert map, they're going to get tired quite quickly. So, okay. Actually, it's going to be a close ending here, because he kind of wasted his Scout Riders. They weren't very... They had bad fatigue as well. Now it's going to be regroup here. There's like 2 slingers left. He has 2 slingers as well, so it's not like a terrible missile war endgame or anything. And there are a lot of pikes. I guess he can pike box, but I guess it's kind of banned. The Swordmasters are just going to commit here onto these pikes, which are not ready for it, really. I guess that's okay. He only has pikes, so you really can only use the pikes together. The pikes are glitching out because they're derps, and these Swordmasters, though, in between 2 pikes should be okay, actually. But this big Wodenaz Spear is going to be a real big problem here. And the General's alive, but he doesn't want to get close to anything for fear of Javelins. I guess, like, the Swordmasters are going to lose some men here, but the pikes don't kill anything fast enough, and the rear charge will come in from the Wodenaz. And pretty much end the game here. Just recharge the pikes, kill them off. The General is gonna get some kills on the slingers at least as compensation. So, if you kill the slingers, but you trade off your infantry, it's not terrible because you have 2 slingers of your own. So the General will commit there. Just lose a lot of men for it though, and probably 2 slingers is not enough here. I assume they don't have very much ammo. They also don't have a lot of men. Your only play here is to shoot the Gen, but yeah, you're not gonna win here. The Swordmasters are too healthy. The General is also quite healthy. Probably, if anyone has a Javelin, of course the game's just over. He's only shooting from the front, which is a little stupid. You should probably flank. Yeah, he just commits. He's probably almost out of ammo. But this was just losing, so well played from Alexander. Closes it out. But yeah, I think it was surprising that he won, to be honest. But I think Arash's Cav just didn't do a good enough job surviving. Considering the fact that the spear wall all went to fight in melee in the front line, he probably should have got off a better engagement, I would say. Let's look at game 2 now. Pretty similar army. Longbow Hunter. Maybe, did you have a Longbow Hunter in the last game? Because I feel like the rest of the army is exactly the same. Maybe he had a Longbow Hunter, I don't know. But yeah, he has 2 Swordmasters, 3 Bloodsworn. Oh, he has fast charge this game, okay. Spear Wall, 4 Spear Wall, 2 Rodnaz, including the Gen, Rider of the Hunt, 4 Javcav, 3 Slingers, and a Longbow Hunter. These guys are interesting. 40 missile damage, but only 5 shots per minute. So they're really good if you can get to an endgame, because they just have 40 damage, and they'll shit against a box or something, they're very good. But otherwise, they kind of shoot pretty slow. Arash has, looks like, 4 Cav and the Gen. And he's got some Slingers, 4 Slingers, 3 Thracians, 3 Thorax Swords, a Militia Hoplite, some Tarentines on the flanks. Pretty similar, I guess 3 Tarentines this time at least. But no pikes, but he has more Cav, better Cav I guess with the Tarentine, extra Tarentine. Infantry is pretty much the same. It's a Militia Hoplite, but no pikes this time. And now there is a fast charge, so the time where you actually want the pikes, there is, he doesn't have them. Kind of unfortunate. We're on Rugion east-west, I guess. We're just skirmishing here. The Germanic Slingers will happily take this exchange. Tila probably wants to shoot something else. Or, sorry, Rash wants to shoot something else. Shooting, shooting, shooting. Nothing much happening here. Again, this missile war just favors Swaby, of course, because they'll just win in the long term. It is 3 versus 4, but if anything, you're just going to waste all your ammo on the Germanic Slingers. They won't take much damage. The Spear Wall do a shield screen, but it kind of glitched, of course. Okay, they're going into shield screen, yes, but now they're going to take like insane javelin damage here. 8 javelin deaths there on the Spear Wall. They don't have a ton of armor, 70 armor, yes, but not great. Thorax Swords will easily win this, but of course everything is the fast charge for Swaby here. The Thessalians just charged into a Spear Wall, which feels like a bit silly, I don't know. Fast charge popped, so let's ride. And again, the big problem for Alexander I see is like always his Spear Wall are not doing anything against Cats. Like they're just getting tied down early in the game, and the Thessalians are like, okay, the Spear Wall are all out of the fight. Now I can just run at things with the Thessalians and kill them. Of course, last time that kind of led to his doom. And here he takes a big javelin there, loses 11 men insta to the fast charging Bloodsworn. Fast charge is only activated now, but they get into these. Okay, he's gonna kill a bunch of hoplite. If you want to watch fast deaths, look here. Yeah, pretty quick. These Bloodsworn will do very well against the Thorax. The Wodenaz is going to do great in this fight with the support of these Javcab as well. But the problem is these units can just run away because there's no calves to chase them down. The Stallions on the flank. Oh, looks like there's a big fight on the flank here with the Riders of the Hunt actually just losing to the Tarentines probably. Or maybe there's a Scout Riders. They're probably Scout Riders. Yeah, Riders of the Hunt are fine. The Stallions going down, so again, Arash being very aggressive with his Cav, but it's not really paying off because there's so many Javelins, and also Fast Charge is a thing. Here, these Tarentines are going to start to take a lot of damage to Javelins from the Scout Riders, but the Thessalians are still so many of them. But the Slingers are focusing them down. Now the Slingers for Macedon are slowly losing to the Germanics. Fast Charge is, of course, going to do some epic damage, winning in the center with the Fast Charge, killing off most of the infantry. But it all comes down to a question of cavalry, really. There's a Thessalian over here for some reason. The general's pretty healthy. There's some big gas units in the back. Nice recharge here on the Bloodsworn should kill them off in the favor of the Thorax Swords. The main units for Swaby, the Swordmasters, and the Wodenaz, still alive here, but slowly losing men. Now the Wodenaz Spear General, which is light, does say medium, but it is light, is going to get focused down by the Comp Gen, and that's going to be a huge problem because there's still a lot of Cav left, and the Slingers could soon go down because the Tarentines here. These Slingers can easily just run away, no threat. The Scout Rider is behind lines here, could go after the Slingers, but the Tarentines recognize the threat. Tarentines again killing the Slingers. Nice defense against the units in the back lines, though. Will kill them off, and it's going to be an endgame here. But I feel like companions are losing some men now. Probably stayed in a little bit too long. Here comes the German Scout Rider. Will kill off one slinger, but then get owned by the general and the Tarantine. So whatever, that's a fine trade. 33 Scout Riders against 56 Tarantines. These healthy Tarantines are going to start killing off those slingers pretty easily. Thessalian here also quite healthy, killing off the Bloodsworn. But the Swordmasters are coming back into the fight. They're getting shot immediately in the rear though. Nice awareness from Arash. As soon as the Swordmaster stops chasing, start shooting in the back. And on this flank, however, the Macedonian units are taking a big advantage. There's not as much fast charge presence here on the very extreme flank, so a Thracian Warrior and a Thorax Sword will live with a small Thessalian cav. The companions are low, but so are the Woodness. Looks like the companions are probably gonna die here unless he runs them away. So they might die. Gets out, but yeah, the general recently died for Macedon, so that's a problem for sure. This way we can start to use that morale advantage. Here, the Bloodsworn, still pretty healthy. You're gonna kill off this Thorax Sword that's very tired. Bad stamina there. Active Thessalians, but winded Bloodsworn against very tired Thorax Swords, taking advantage there. The Wodenaz General also is still alive and very fast. Never underestimate the speed of the Wodenaz. They are light, as I said, so they can easily hunt down these slingers. Well, not easily, but they can. And this might be a clean win for Alexander. I think Arash again just like over aggressive with the Thessalians too early in the game while there's still so many units in Swaby's backlines, the Javcav, the Spear Wall, the Woundness, then you're going to lose a lot of men with your Thessalians, and you need those Thessalians in the late game to actually clean everything up. He does have some big Tarantine here. He does have some units here, so it's not over, actually, because the Slinger survives here, and the Tarantines actually did manage to kill this Slinger. So one Slinger will be left, and there's quite a bit of Cav. This Tarantine will be a big problem here. It's fresh, so it can easily do a lot of impact damage on these units. 56 Swordmasters, 65 Thorax Swords. Exhausted versus very tired, so not a lot of killing will happen super quickly. Here, the Swordmasters are pretty healthy, 90 men. The Wodeness, though, are exposed to Slinger fire now. I would try to kill the General here for Swaby, and then commit on the Slinger, kill that off, and then hopefully you can deal with the Swordmasters and the remaining infantry in the late game. But the Swordmaster not having a good time there. The rear charge from the Tarantines. These fresh Tarantines doing a lot. Route the Swordmaster. Now the Wodeness are forced to commit into melee. They should do well here. But he doesn't want to get shot, so he kind of retreats. He lets the Bloodsworn do the dirty work here. Cavalry counter tactics, but it doesn't really matter. They're just going to get a charge. Probably kill the general here. And that will probably spell GG. Actually, Arash turning it around. His Tarantines surviving till the late game was the big difference in this game. Yeah, they managed to survive. He had one hiding in the forest there, which we didn't see, but it was very healthy and very fresh, and it managed to kill pretty much everything over here, protect the Slinger, and the other Tarantine got to the dramatic Slingers as well. Not over because the big Swordmaster here, Slinger, and also the Spear Wall here, so he can protect the Slinger. But there's quite a few units left here. Then Arash can just rest. He has two Slingers to just shoot down the Swordmaster with a bit of infantry left. He gets in, but again, he doesn't have a ton of Tarantines left. He's gonna kill off the Slinger. General recently died. I would expect him to rout, but maybe not. He does need to commit for the Slinger for sure to kill it off, even at the cost of his Tarantines. But he might not be able to. Oh, wrapping around each other. Okay, he's gonna get to them. So he's gonna lose his Tarantines for the Slinger. And we don't know how much ammo there is here, and there's 81 and 48, but with the Thorax Sword at 42 and a bit of Cav, the Slingers probably have enough ammo to turn this in their favor. He's not in the forest either, unfortunately. He cannot get to the forest either without taking a lot of fire, so just shoot down the Swordmaster. Don't worry about the Spear Wall because your Thorax Swords will easily take care of them. Again, I don't know why you don't surround Arash. Like, put a unit here, put a unit there. Oh, these Slingers are out of ammo, okay. So they're out of ammo, so you'd expect these guys to be out of ammo shortly. But they were the ones that routed, so they probably, or like ran all the way over here, so they probably have a bit more ammo. Surround comes in, but these Thessalians are 12 men. The general here are at, 11 men. That's enough to do enough damage to the Swordmaster, or just like snipe the Spear Wall. And then the Thorax Sword should finish it. But you have to be careful, because if the Cav dies, the Swordmaster will just win the game. Looks like everything's out of ammo now. No, these guys still have ammo, okay. He's just getting a little bit closer for better damage. He's going to engage I wouldn't let them get a charge. I mean, it's fine, but I wouldn't let them get a charge here. I'd use my Thessalian to block the charge here, snipe the Spear Wall with my other Cav, and the Swordmasters will start to do a lot of damage here. Now, because they get a charge, they insta-kill your Thorax Sword. You didn't rest as well. You needed to rest or second, or his General's dead. You can't second wind. You need to rest there. Um, this is gonna get really dicey now. Like, the exhausted Thorax Sword was like, I cannot win this. But fortunately, it looks like the Swordmaster routed before Headhunt fully activated. And he'll just win this on the back of his Slinger. I mean, not much left though. Very, very, very close. But just about enough. Could have played that a little bit more cleanly, but he gets the win anyway. So, well done. 1-1. Good games. Yeah, quite close. Next up is... Oh, right. Ulda versus Soap. Emperors versus Odricians. A matchup that we did see in the previous group series, a Sarah versus Soap, or a Sarah versus someone. Maybe it was Hoplite, don't remember. But now it's Ulda. Also, one of the only undefeated players going in this matchup. I think I'm the only other one that hasn't lost a game. So, yeah, he must have been playing well. So I wanted to just see what he's doing, because obviously it's quite interesting when someone is undefeated. He has a pretty standard army here. He has 5 Thessalians. He has a general. He has a Slinger, a Peltist, and a Slinger, or a Rhodian actually. He has 3 Italian swords, 3 Samnites, not a lot of cav. He has 3, or not a lot of infantry, sorry. He also has the 3 uh, Tarentines that you'd expect. And Soap has your standard army for Odricians apparently, which is 4 Thracian nobles, 4 Thracian warriors, actually 3 Norfolksmen. Or maybe only has 3 here. Okay, only 3 Thracian warriors, 4 spears, 4 cav, and 4 jav cav. So, okay. Fair enough. Maybe there's a hidden Folksman here behind the hill. So again, all it needs to do here is kill the things that are not Thracian nobles, and then the Thracian nobles will lose. Pretty straightforward stuff. He has a lot of cav. Cav, you don't need so much cav, but I guess it doesn't hurt to have a lot of cav. There's not a lot of javelins for Odrician, so you can just kill the Thracian warriors, kill the spears, kill the cav with his Thessalians. Yes, the Thracian nobles will kill your infantry, but then you have slingers. Oh, he has no slingers as well. I would take 4 slingers here instead of the spears, I think. But maybe he was worried about the Thessalians, but you can just use your Thracian nobles as anti-cav, since they will kill the Thessalians on the charge. So I think slingers is better here, because now you just are going to get kited. So he has an extra slinger as well. 2 slingers, a Rhodian, and a Peltist for the side of Ulda. So how do you kill those units? I don't know. I don't think you have a way, to be honest, because yes, you have an extra Jav cav, but there's so much more cav. 2 extra cav, melee cav on the field. Oh no, he has 5. Okay, he has 5 Thracian horsemen. It's only 1 extra cav, but 1 extra Jav cav for Thrace, 1 extra melee cav for Epirus. But I think you'll take that as Epirus, and you have the slingers. Just shoot, 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 and this should be a pretty easy win. But let's see. Maybe Ulda thought there was gonna be a cav attack here. Maybe there still will be one. But this is completely fine. He hits the gap here. Okay, he might not get a charge. Oh, he just about got a charge at the last second. I think half his unit got a charge and half didn't. But the Thracian Horseman ate the charge. Anyway, the Spears do a nice job blocking the charge here. This is a bit aggressive from Ulda, I'd say. Like, this is fine, but he needs infantry support immediately so that his cow doesn't get owned. So, these guys are a bit slow. I don't know about this. Like, yes, you don't want to fight the Thracian nobles, but if you don't fight the Thracian nobles, your cav is going to get obliterated by them. And they're going to have no cav in the late game. Here, nice cav charge here, but again, I don't think you need to do this cav charge. Like, you have a Thracian noble winning this fight for you. Taking losses on your Thracian horsemen is not really worth it. So the Thessalians back up, Thracian horsemen back up. The Thracian horsemen got the better of these exchanges, I would say, because the infantry support was a lot closer for them, so the infantry did a lot of cav killing. And now these Thessalians are going to get caught by Thracian nobles and die. But again, there's just a lot more cav on the side of Ulda anyway, so you can afford these losses. Okay, charges a Thracian noble here, which is a bit sus. Sandman's get in the back of the Thracian noble, get charged by a cav, but they don't really care, because the cav is not very good. These slingers, meanwhile, are just firing all the time. I think Ulda needs to preserve his cav a bit better here if you just want to get overrun by the Jav cav in the late game. But, 30, 45, 42, general at 60, this unit at 28. It's acceptable. Like, this Thracian horse is almost dead, this Thracian horse is almost dead. This one's half strength, this one's half strength. Like, he's done enough damage to the enemy Thracian Cav where he can just kite the end game here and should be all good to win. And that's what should happen here. At first, his Cav was looking a little bit dire, to be honest, but he managed to salvage the situation. Keep his Cav, probably shot the Cav. Of course, the shot Cav charges do a lot of damage to the Thracian Horse on the charge because they're really medium. And now he just chills. He doesn't need to shoot the Thracian Nobles right now, honestly. He just needs to shoot the Cav. Thracian Nobles can die later. Peltus, very nice against the General. Here comes the Cav rush, but straight into 3 Thessalians here. They can't really actually do anything, and this is the problem for Adristians. They just lose the Cav battle, and then Slingers kill your army. I guess he got some units in here, but again, he has enough Cav to just charge here, charge here. He's winning the fight over here with 2 Thessalians against 1. Slingers did not even die, so they don't really care. The Rhodians probably going to get insane kills in this game. Tarentine's still screening very nicely. Can just chase this off. Thracian Noble dying. Again, Thracian Noble's not even that cost effective, honestly. General's still healthy, and this should just be GG. He has to kite to the end game, but I'm not going to watch 5 minutes of kiting. Yeah, the Cav trying to get to the Slingers, but he doesn't need all that many Slingers to survive. If his Rhodian survives, one other Slinger or something, he should be fine. The Slingers will live with 40 men, 70, 60 men here, no problem. Thracian Nobles alone, and they will just lose. Go turn on my light real quick, it's kind of dark in here. Okay. Yeah, Thracian Noble, again, the General's he's super healthy, the Slingers are still alive. There is this Jackknife here, which I don't think he accounted for, so his General has to run all the way over there and save. The Rhodians are going to die, but the other Thracian Nobles are also going to die. Actually, the Rhodians are going to live. He should have focused on killing that unit, actually. So now he just needs to screen the Javcav with his own General, which he's doing. The Javcav are exhausted, so they can't actually outpace anything here. General's going to die. You just charge the Gen. Kills him off, and then yes, you trade a Slinger for that, but that's completely fine. There's only 1 Thracian Noble left. You still have 2 more Slingers over here. And they'll just rout, so nicely done from Ulda, pretty straightforward win. But you take those all day. And again, I don't think, I mean, if they're not realizing this already, like, everyone playing Odricians needs to stop with this 4th Thracian Noble army. It's literally so bad. Because it's just so easy to counter when the rest of your army is dog shit. But when you go to game 2, let's see if there's any changes. No, and no. But the map is Migdal, I guess. Maybe that helps with a bit more forest cover, but shouldn't really. I think we'll see exactly the same thing. So armies are exactly the same, and I'm not sure why the result would be any different. I think Ulda just needs to be careful that he doesn't overcommit with his Cav at the start of the game. Make sure your infantry support is right behind. Get the charge on the Thracian Cav. Yep, kill them off, and then, or at least injure them, but then keep your Cav alive for the late game. Because he almost ran out of Cav, but fortunately the Thracian Horsemen were taking enough damage, but potentially could have been in trouble there. Migdal, of course, a bit better anti-skirmish, but Thrash is so bad against missiles that it won't really matter. The desert heat as well means that the kite is going to be even more powerful, because these guys will be exhausted much faster, which means they can't really chase as well. And we already saw the exhausted Thracian Cav last game, winded already, and the game hasn't even fucking started yet. He just charges in straight up. He's just shooting the Cav as he charges. Both sides give that up. 52 and 55, so that's fine. I don't know why he's like committing on the spears, but he is. Seems like a kind of a waste. But I just get a charge into all these units anyway, so again, his slingers can just shoot the Cav here. They're all shooting the Thracian Nobles, which is also fine. The Rhodians over here is gonna own the Thracian Nobles with their high damage. Here, kind of the opposites. The Thracian Horsemen getting charged, but they're losing men. The Thessalians are not losing men. This is all fine for Ulda. He knows he can just trade the Cav down. He'll win because he has more Cav and better Cav. Some javelins into the Thracian horse. The Thracian noble already down to 100 men. Hasn't even fought yet. Here again, he's just trying to charge the Thracian horseman wherever he can. This Thracian horseman was kind of aggressive into his Sam Knights. Here again, this Thracian horseman is going to lose all of its unit on the charge. But this time the Thracian warriors at least are getting some better engagements, killing off the Italian swords. And the Thracian nobles as well here are going to do some serious damage to the Thessalians. So that's a bit better for Soap here. But this Thracian noble is going to lose the Samnite straight up with this root charge and some focus fire. And the Cav is not all that good. And in the center here again, this other Thracian horseman losing or dying at least, so that's not good. The Thessalians are going down though, a bit more. So again, Ulda again kind of overcommitting with the Thessalians. But he's going to get a lot of compensation for that in the fact that the Thracian Horsemen are not that healthy either. But look at this. He's like 51, 60, 30, all 4 jab cap. He could go for the slingers like right now with these Thracian nobles on the rush and potentially have a chance to kill them. But he has to go for it now or it's going to be too late when he can stabilize with his cav. And the Tarentines are also behind. I don't think going behind with the Tarentines is a great play because if he just runs forward, then these Tarentines are just out of position. You probably want to keep them just behind your lines on the flanks and make it hard for Soap to rush her slingers. But this will turn into a better kiting situation for Soap than last game at least, because at least here he has a bit more cav. And Peltists are going to go down here, but the Thracians are taking heavy fire. The Thracian nobles, the problem is, unlike last game, the Thracian nobles are mostly dead now. So Uldo was a bit more committal, and instead of going for the long kite, he's just going to like kill the Thracian nobles in melee. This Thracian noble's dead, this one is losing. This one's almost dead, so only one Thracian noble will be left at general. But there's a lot more cav, but the problem is Thracian horsemen alone are not winning you this game because they're so shit. So, the fact that he's lost so much infantry this time is going to be a killer. Because yes, now you can kill the slingers, but you're not going to kill the general, the cav, and the infantry with one Thracian noble and some shitty cav. And that's going to be the case here. I think he's just going to, I mean, he's trying to get to the slingers. He's getting some kills, but the Thracian horsemen suck, so they can't really do much. He can just charge in here if he wanted. Yes, the Jav are doing some damage, but the infantry is much in the favor of Epirus, and this is a pretty clean win for Ulda. Didn't take much to defeat the likes of Odrysians, as we kind of expect. Just kind of sit there and you just don't make any huge mistakes, and Thracian nobles will eventually die. And that's kind of what happened here. As the cleanup comes through. Again, the infantry and the cav too much for Odrysian, so nicely done from Ulda, pretty clinical stuff. Didn't take all that much effort, I would say. Two more series, or 1.5 series, I think. Tila versus NCR. Okay, this is going to be like a fun one. I just wanted to watch the demise of the NCR Ranger Empire. He was undefeated until this game, I think. But I think Tila would have other ideas against Sparta. Not really that difficult. So he has the same army as we saw against whoever he played before. Who was it? It was... Who did he play? Rome. He played Sky Element, right? So 2 Levy Freeman, 2 Spearband, 2 Swordband, 4 Cav, some Britain Slingers, 4 of them probably, or 2 Heroic Nobles, 3 Chosen Swordband, and the Heroic Rider Gen. NCR has like some Tarentines. He has pretty much the same army he was bringing in the last game, so 4 Gorgos, which will do okay against the Britain Slingers, because they're pretty much equal armor, 20 health 50, 25 health 50, so slightly better armor on the Britons, but they do have better fire reload speed on the Gorgos, so pretty close. The Tarentines are annoying, but you're just gonna scream with Levy Freeman and Swordband. And the real problem is there's really nothing NCR can do against the infantry. 5 Heroic Nobles and Chosen Swordband will just run through this army and kill everything without much of a problem. He has 3 Syscabs, so probably 3 Tarentines only. But again, his infantry line is 4 or 5 Spartan Hoplites, Royal Spartan, Hero Sparta, and like 3 Periodic Way Spears for the Javs. But you're out cav, you're out infantry, your missile is pretty much equal. You do have Jav cav, that's your only advantage here, but that's not quite enough when the Levy Freemen are on the field to just screen. So he takes a missile war, it doesn't really matter, you can take this missile war and exchange the missiles off the field so they can't like focus fire or anything. That seems fine for me. And so you're trying to be annoying here, but the infantry just screen. And the Gorgos, doing a good job so far, but just taking some losses, both sides, taking those losses. Not a lot of javelins here, so Tila can be a bit aggressive, She catches turn times a little bit there. We'll do some damage, and just says, okay, we'll just take a fight straight up. 1, 2, yeah, it was 5 Spartan hoplites, I suppose. He goes into phalanx, but that doesn't really matter because you get wrapped around, and you can cycle charge. The funny thing to do against phalanx is just sit here and throw all your javelins into the phalanx and just like completely own it. Let's see, are they out of range? They must be just out of range. You know the focus firing the phalanx with the slingers? Nice, javelins are down to 100 men already. These Spartan hoplites doing a bit better, but they'll lose anyway. The flank attack comes in, the Paracrispers spears get shot at, or charged, sorry, with the veteran riders. Citizen Cav will come in for counter charge, but again, there's 3 Citizen Cavs, so he can afford to be kind of aggressive with his veteran riders to force these fights. Trying to use phalanx here, and they focus fire on this chosen swordbed. Okay, that's pretty nice at least. But you can only do that in so many places. Meanwhile, on this flank, again, there's still more and more infantry units. Heroic Nobles against Royal Spartan, a fun matchup here, but the Heroic Nobles will win that. Didn't get a charge, actually, so they might lose now. But on the flank, again, Chosen Swordband, or Regular Swordband, sorry, in here, will fight against Spartan Hoplites, so they'll lose that fight. But the infantry fight is just eventually going to go down. Tila finds a nice little gap here. He says, I will run through. But then the Cav came and he's like, no, run, I will not run through the gap. I will just run away from the gap. Here the Heroic Nobles are going to absolutely just really mess up everything here. The Heroes of Sparta will try, but they can get focused down. Yeah, this is what I was saying. It's probably better for Tila to just take the Missile War and exchange off the Slingers so that they can't focus fire units behind the Phalanxes. That's like the only way that the Spartans can do anything. And even here where they got focus fired heavily, the counter focus fire comes in, and now this is going to be like a tie. The Citizen Cav are just dying. On the flank, you have some Cav action. He doesn't have anything to stop these guys, so he just has to shoot them and hope that they die. But they really won't, and now there's just more Cav, although he is losing Cav because they are being focus fired, and the veteran riders, of course, notoriously weak against javelins. But here, the Citizen Cav going to go for the slingers, the veteran heroic rider going to go for the enemy slingers. Looks like they will bail, though, and charge here. Not sure why he didn't commit here, honestly. If NCR just commits, he can probably kill the slingers. This veteran rider going to try to kill the Gorgo skirmishers. Probably will not succeed in that, but there's also like a spare levy freeman here. The infantry will shortly be victorious for Iceni, and then you can just run at the slingers. Cav finally getting some recharges here, but again, okay, he's not going to even go for it. Just takes a javelin volley. Heroic Nobles 112 over here. Cycle charging these Heroic Nobles. Very nice. They were winning this fight, even though they didn't get a charge on the Royal Spartans. Now these Heroic Nobles are just pretty much unstoppable. They can kill all the infantry. NCR has done a good job protecting his slingers, but so has Tila. Not really as well as NCR did. Of course, NCR is under more pressure with a lot of enemy cav, but Tila's done a good enough job. His slingers are still alive, and that should be fine because, I mean, the slingers are still alive, the cav gen is alive. Yes, there's some cav alive for NCR, but nothing significant. With all these levy freemen and all the infantry just winning the game, you'd expect that to be a free win. The general's going to go down to the Heroic Nobles soon. The other infantry fights are in the favor of Tila as well. End up being kind of close, I guess, but nice javelin volley there. That's a killer javelin volley because you lose so much cav, you can't really go after the slingers anymore. The general here will just kill off these citizen cav. He intimidates the citizen cav, which have no abilities, so I don't know why that does anything, but okay. But citizen cav just instant died to the cav gen, and now, you just wait for the infantry to win. You have all your slingers. Yes, the enemy has their slingers as well, but you can just, drove the slingers off, and then you'll have infantry, and the enemy will have nothing, pretty much. The Royal Sparta, or the Heroes of Sparta, nice, still 70 men here, but they're going to go down to the Heroic Nobles. General, again, just losing to the Heroic Nobles as well. And now there's like 1 cav versus 1 cav. There's pressure on the slingers, so he could go for this, but he wisely decides to back off. I think that's the better play here. Let the enemy slingers live, just kill the enemy, keep your slingers alive. The enemy infantry will die, and then you will be much better here. He needs to go kill this Pericles Spear, probably, with his gen. Yeah, no, I wouldn't stay here, because you're gonna get shot. If NCR focuses the general here, I mean, he's still got enough men, I guess, but could have been close. The Citizen Cav is not going to be able to do anything here. Just wait for your infantry to win. The Gorgos have been firing all game. They probably don't have a lot of ammo left. They might be out of ammo, in fact, on some of them. These guys still have ammo, but these guys are out. So yeah, I mean, at this point you just have infantry. The enemy does not, and you will win. So pretty free. There's just like nothing Sparta can do. Just like unless like the slingers kill like everything, you just lose. I think. So pretty tough one. And we'll watch the second game. Why not? Oh my god. Does NCR make any changes? No. Actually, yes. He goes for 4 Citizen Cav and 2 Tarantines, so 3 and 3. Tula probably has the same army. Looks like it. I mean, we can just watch this on triple speed, honestly, because everything is just so obvious for this matchup. He's just going to sit in the forest for now. Just making sure the Tarantines don't harass too heavily. But now we just focus fire the slingers. 3 on 1 seems a bit... okay, it's not 3 on 1, it's like 2 on 1. That's probably fine. Just trading missile damage. Here again, you can pressure here because there's not many javelins. He baits out the Periwicked javelins. And he can just rush. NCR will kite. But whatever, you just keep focus firing the slingers all game. Baits out another Periwicked javelin, so they don't have any javelins left. Takes an engagement here. This is a good fight uh, for Iceni. He's actually gonna get into this Tarantine as well. It did kind of smash a little bit for me. Only got 20 kills though. Spearband will go down here, and the Swordband, well, the Spearband will clean this up. This says they're not gonna have a fun time. Slingers decide to just shoot the general. I guess that's fine. Chosen Swordband. I wouldn't commit my Chosen Swordband on the general here because the general actually smites this unit epically. NCR goes for the counter rush on the other flank. He is going to lose this flank, and you can already see that happening here, so he needs to go for some counter aggression, but you're Sparta, you can't really counter aggress. It's not really a thing. Heroic Nobles all the way on the flank here. Other Heroic Noble is here. Gonna kill off these Spartan hoplites. There are some free units on the flank here, but you can just delay them. That's all you need to do. You're winning this flank. Your Heroic Noble is about to bust through. Citizen Cap trying to go for something here, but it doesn't really matter. I would take the Swordband to kill off this Periwicked Spear probably, but he's gonna use his general for that. I guess that works. The Citizen Cav trying to get through to the slingers, but there's extra units here. Everywhere there's Cav, there's just, yeah, you know, I see Cav to counter. Finally, these Cav are going to slowly die, but these Citizen Cav taking a beating. It's pretty much all the Citizen Cav that's remaining are in the fights here. The Citizen Cav did break through, but these veteran riders say, no, 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 you can't do that. They'll kill one slinger maybe. Die. This veteran rider says, I'll kill one slinger and also die. So everything is pretty even here, and again, this is just completely favoring Tila. Nice, it actually does block the charge here. So that is a bit better for the side of Sparta. But again, the infantry fight just eventually is going to be over. Heroic Nobles here only losing 12 men. Here only losing 6 men so far. And the Spartans are almost dead. The Royal Spartans, you know, doing a little bit better. Where are the Heroes of Sparta? The Heroes of Sparta here on the flank. We'll get a nice engagement on the rear of the Heroic Nobles. But the Heroic Nobles can tank this fight. And the Slingers can start to focus fire them. Of course, there's a Tarentine on them currently. So these veteran riders have to do some defense. But that's fine. This veteran rider is killing off this Citizen Cav. Again, the infantry fight just slowly goes into favor. This battle's a bit better for NCR because this fight was not so good, and now he actually doesn't have as much Cav, but he has a general in this unit, which can kill the Slingers in the late game. But that will mean that the Slingers have got a bit better firing time for the Gorgos compared to the Britain Slingers, because the Britain Slingers got pressured pretty early in the game. Only 2 of them left, unlike last game where Tila survived with all of them. But now the Cav advantage, you know, you have to go so aggressive to kill these slingers as Sparta that you only have 1 Citizen Cav left against, you know, 1, 2, 3 Cav for Iceni, and your infantry is still losing, despite the fact that you have the Heroes of Sparta in the rear. It doesn't really matter. The General did win, but it also lost like 50 men or 40 men to kill a Chosen Swordband, and now the slingers will just simply go down, and Tula will have a nice infantry advantage. His slingers are still alive to shoot the Heroes of Sparta, or this Cav, I guess, first, but not a big deal because the veteran riders will save them. The general is still very healthy, and this again is just a pretty straightforward win for Tula. So nice 2-0, showing that Sparta can be beat, believe it or not. So NCR takes some losses finally, and he was saying like, yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard to actually do anything against good players, which is probably true. And I don't have both games here, but I have Seoul versus a Rice Shower, Odricians versus Numidia. Figured watch that. Alright, so Rice Shower has the classic army, it looks like. For Javcav, for three slingers looks like with one spear. Thracian, four Thracians, four Thracian nobles, four Thracian horsemen. Here are the Gaetuli horse skirmishers, taking some nice early shots for Sol Invictus on the Thracian warriors. But Gaetuli, okay, has two Gaetuli. He has a lot of cav, four shot cav and two melee cav. Kind of a lot. I would prefer like four peltas here, I think. Two heavy minion skirmishers, desert cohort, legionary, cohort, legionary, cohort. So three cohorts and two legionaries. I don't know why you get cohorts. I think they're just overpriced. Like you can just chill with the four legionaries, one cohort. He also has some Desert Vigiles in square to beat the charge of the nobles, which is fine. But he only has two Javcab against four, so he's going to have a problem there. And his infantry, he doesn't really have many ways to kill the Thracian nobles. With only two Peltas. Yes, he has Cav, but the Cav is not really a guaranteed kill on the Thracian nobles, because the Thracian nobles can kill your Cav. And of course, there's still quite a few... Oh no, he has a Thracian Royal Cav gen, actually. Interesting. Thracian Royal Cav gen, and... let's see. Only three Thracian horsemen, maybe? Hidden Lancer units here. Hidden Rider. Don't know what his plan is for that, but it could be interesting. But I'm not really sure that's really worth it, because you can snipe one unit and then your Lancer will die. Actually, two. Holy shit. Maybe his plan is to chase these guys and then have the Lancers kill them from behind. But no way he falls for that, surely. He's saving this guy for a bit later, it seems. Nice cav charge in here will kill off this Thracian horseman pretty easily, so Reshard dropping the Thracian horse here, but now he's going to commit with his Thracian nobles. Three of them in the center here. I think the Thracian units killed off the Lancer. GG. Now the other Lancer's coming in, but the rush is successful on this link. He catches off an armored Desert Cav, kills them off. Big ass melee blob in the center. This is okay for both sides. I think the Desert Cohort can tank the Thracian nobles, actually, in excited combat. 117, 108. Yeah, they're already doing that because the Vigilators were using to block the charges, so very nice. Here, another charge, but again, you have no support for this charge, so the Thracian warriors will kill off your Cav in extended melee here. Peltas nice and shooting down the Thracian nobles. And you can see the Thracian nobles are already taking so much damage here. The cohorts are saying, we have no problem dealing with you. Thracian warriors on this flank dying. Just the tanky infantry for Numidia. However, he is losing a lot of units to the Cav. Actually, the new Numidian Riders actually got in on this Thracian Cav and killed it off. Which is good, because he needs to get to the Slingers at some point. Does have the Thracian Royal Cav trying to do something with it. Thracian nobles can just countercharge here, surely. Win on the right, on Sol's right for Rice Shower. Win on the left for Sol. Big ass melee blob here, but the Thracian Cav should just win this fight. I mean, Gaetuli Horse Skirmishers have no melee power. I guess he's just charging them so the Vigiles can get the kills, which might work. But the Thracian nobles are so low already. That's kind of a problem. However, his Cav was like chasing around Javcav the entire game for Sol Invictus and taking these terrible fights where there is support of the Thracians, and they will kill the Cav quite quickly. So now it's going to be infantry against everything else, but there are still slingers alive. The Thracian nobles, a few of them are still alive. Actually, pretty decent amount of them are still alive here. There are some pretty healthy cohorts here, but I think the slingers and the Cav will be enough to clutch this for Thrace, most likely. Thracian's going, I mean, the slingers fire, and again, the minions will have that extra desert bonus as well, which means they will not fatigue as fast, which could be huge, but the Cav advantage is just quickly in the favor of Rice Shower here, because Sol need to, like, not chase Javcav around the entire game, that's just a bad move. And now the cohorts will find themselves quite isolated against some remaining infantry, against the very healthy Thracian Royal Cav General, and his General for Numidia is going to go down, so that should just be GG. He weathered the initial storm, Rice Shower, and used his support unit. So this is the thing, this is what I always say. Against Thrace, you don't want to kill the Thracian nobles. You want to focus on killing all the other shit, and then let the Thracian nobles be alone. In this game, like, Sol went after the Thracian nobles directly, but that means that his infantry took pretty heavy losses. They did win, but they took pretty heavy losses, and all of a sudden all the supporting units, the Javcav, the Thracian warriors, the Cav, were winning. on the flanks because none of the heavy infantry were helping in those fights, and he also was like playing it poorly to be fair. Like his Numidian cav were chasing the his Numidian army, Numidian riders were chasing the Jav cav around, taking big losses. The cav for Thrace had the support of the Thracian warriors, which meant that the riders lost. The army Numidian riders lost quite quickly, and that was like what you don't want to do against Thrace. You try to kill the Thracian nobles, you'll kill them at a heavy cost, because Thracian nobles will at least do a lot of damage, and then everything else for Thrace is enough, and especially because he has this Thracian Royal Cav gen this time, that's a big unit that you can use in the late game. And looks like a pretty free win for Ice Shower, so nice job. I don't have the second game for this, I didn't see it posted, so oh well. But that's all the replays. I really have to fucking get some fucking food or some shit, because I'm starving. But yep, thanks for watching, guys. 15 replays is quite a lot to commentate, but it was fun. I think the quality of play was better in this group, which is what you'd expect compared to the first group. So that's good. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Hope it was fun. Hope you saw some interesting games. I thought they were pretty good. But anyway, yep. See you after round 3 for the round 3 replay review shortly. GG's.